Not won a game yet.
I mean,
Oh.
yeah, LeBron was banned at Evo, so
Man, let me adjust.
Ooh.
Don't mind me. I've just been putting the names in places where they're actually
Ooh,
visible,
we're
which
green.
means we get fun ones. The secondary color is green. Our main color is orange. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
I need to get closer to my mic to actually make sure, because I had to adjust my audio settings. Because for some reason, I think a Windows update. That's what I'm gonna blame it on. My keyboard's been audible like the entire past 2 weeks, and it's been hell. Terrible. Absolutely the worst.
Darn Windows updates.
Oh. Stream has
Like
me,
sorry guys, we have to finesse all the audios because A, we're on YouTube now, and B, like 3 of us have new setups, so.
Stream has me a little worried.
Well, a little bit loud by the way, Sean, so.
Yeah. I don't know if I can. We're gonna make one quick adjustment because YouTube is yelling at me.
Oh, we're showing copyrighted content already. Let's go. Tear us down.
No, it's the audio bit rate's apparently not high enough. What is it?
Makes sense.
What is it wanted at?
Fun fact. Amber's desk has a stress butt.
It should not be. That's weird.
For sharing YouTube, I showed a bare ass. Let's go.
let's go.
Why is it?
Let's go.
Causing an issue. I'm gonna try something, and we're gonna see if it fixes it.
Funniest thing I have near me is, I think I probably showed this off before, but one of my DMs at the end of a campaign gave each of us some little gifts. I mean, he gave me a dice jail.
Nice.
Cute.
So now I have my proper little dice jail that I use anytime a dice gives me 2 bad rolls in a row.
Very important.
It's required.
Mm-hmm. You gotta teach your dice a lesson.
If it's gonna be bad, it goes to jail. That's just
jail.
the rule.
I'm gonna go to jail. I'm gonna go to jail.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna ask you guys, so outside of, you said turn you guys down, right? So, if just you down, you think? Okay, I had you down, but we'll turn you down a little more.
Yeah, I think it was good.
Okay. Yeah, this is also the best place for Masons. Michael, your room sucks to put a green thing over. And by that, I mean your shirt sucks. Because I could almost do everybody's shirts. Actually, yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah, but I move around way too much for that.
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna be spinning.
That's okay.
Putting it on the TV is kind of funny, though.
I mean, that was why I did it on the TV for you, because I thought it was funny. Yeah, nah, it's fine. You can make out the names, and at some point, people will get used to it, so it's all good. Welcome, everybody. It's a new season of Anime Friday Saber Slay podcast. The traditional weekly anime podcast that takes long, extended breaks, and that is occasionally not weekly.
Never has the same day.
No, hey, it's weekly in that it happens once every week, usually.
Yeah,
not that it happens every day. Well, one exact day every week. That'd be silly. For that to happen, we would all have to not be adults.
Yeah.
I could make it work. The rest of you can't.
I mean, I can make it work. I have set days off.
Mm-hmm.
John's work isn't quite as nice.
Yeah.
I have to work every other weekend.
Speaking
I work 12
of
hour shifts, I work midnights.
Speaking of, it's super important. I can't believe that I neglected to do this. Everybody, huge welcome to John of the podcast, first season. And kind of some bangers picked off for first season. I mean, it's It's incredible. You know what happens. The previous winner had to go. It was his opinions were horrible, picks the worst shows, even though he won last
That's true.
season. Just terrible opinions,
True.
and so we brought John on. And yeah, so that sets that up. So let's talk.
Josh
Let's.
is gone. Long
Yeah,
way
Josh
gone.
John's actually a
is
big fan
chill.
of
John is
both
alive.
action and yaoi shows.
Definitely
And
not
I
slice of
really
life
hate
and
moe.
romance.
Honestly, like moe and slice of life, kind of the worst
Yeah.
genres. Like to be clear, but
It's gonna bother me if things aren't centered.
no.
Yeah. But welcome to Saber Slight. This is an anime podcast where we pick 12 shows of the currently airing season of anime, which is currently fall. I'm going to say currently more times than you were prepared for. We do not pick sequels, short form, spin-offs that would require prerequisite in terms of information or knowledge about the world. We will pick things that are tied to either remakes or tied to content that technically exists, but you don't need to know anything about, like some of our shows this season. There's gonna be spoilers. We have watched up to episode 3 of everything for this first episode. With that in mind, please do not spoil the shows we are talking about past the episode we've seen.
You will be nuked into orbit.
Yeah, we appreciate people, tuning in and maybe chiming in about their thoughts about the shows. But if you say something that is a spoiler, I'm not gonna be happy. And that takes a lot to do that. Where on earth did I put? It's in here.
Carmen Sandiego.
No, I want this because I'm gonna post it in the chat. There it goes. Yeah, so there's that reminder that'll be floating around throughout the entire episode. Harsh language, spoilers obviously for the episodes we are going to be talking about, and potentially for some things that are tangentially related. We'll usually try to give a warning to the best of our abilities. I am joined, as always, by my 3 co-hosts, Michael, Mason, and John. We've finally upgraded. We've finally upgraded him.
Weird to say it.
We've upgraded him
It
to
feels
real
so
name.
wrong.
Yeah, it's horrible. I don't like
For
it.
me, but that's because I knew you before this.
It's like
you
how
know-
I would refer to Dylan as Dylan, and everyone and anyone
Everyone
who
else called him Pablo.
yeah, everyone else just
Pablo.
called him Pablo.
Pablo.
And I was like, oh, this is wild.
Yeah, it was so weird when people called him Pablo. I was like, oh yeah, that is, yeah. It felt so wrong.
That is a way we
Yeah,
can
the way
refer
of
to
being
them.
the only one with a shirt with like a online name and also being the one wearing the crown was too much to bear, so I had to give up one. So
Yeah.
I mean, we could call Sean by his tag. We could
No.
just call him Deadly,
No,
and that'd be really fun.
yeah, there are easy ways to make it work, but another important note is you might be wondering what happens. Do we just talk about quick math 36 episodes of anime and
kind of.
yeah, thanks Gundam. And then
We
12 the
always
next
thought,
week, and then
right?
12 the
Yeah.
next week until we all die from too much anime? Well, no. We actually try to make it a little easier by voting off the worst shows. So at the end of the episode, after we've talked through each of the shows, we have a survey we go fill out. And then we have a tally of saves and slays. The show with the most slays gets voted off at the end of the episode. If there is a tie, we leave it to the hands of fate, the mighty wheel.
It's Survivor style.
Yeah. And from there, the next week we're one show down until we're left with a top 3, and then those top 3 are the ones we talk about in our finale. We have some other content we do on the channel, but you don't gotta worry about that right now. Instead, you just have to worry about this stream. With that in mind,
What shows do we have this season, Sean?
Oh,
By the
we
way, we're
have-
talking about spoilers and saying bad words because that's what we do.
yes, Orange. Do you like the season of Orange?
I love
I
the season
do.
of Orange, pumpkin spice flavored season.
Before we get started, huge shout out to my friend Mia Walker, who I commissioned for our logo. Been using it
Friend of the
since
show.
we started. It is wonderful. Links are in chat and will be in the description after the VOD ends when I decide to actually put a good description in that has all of our information and stuff. So please check out those links. We
How
are.
crazy is that? Mason managed to wear a green shirt and have a green room for the
Yep.
green text.
It's great. I could have just not have made it green text knowing that 2 of us have green rooms, but I decided not to. Another important note is that this is a recent move to YouTube. We've been on Twitch for most of the podcast's lifespan, with the exception of a special little episode Mason and I did a few weeks ago, which you can check out on the channel, about Ruby's Volume 1 to 3, and or show selection for this season. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so, and turn on notifications so you know when we go live, because as we mentioned, sometimes we don't know what day we're gonna stream until the day of. And then sometimes we don't know what time we're gonna stream until the morning of.
Until it actually goes live.
Yeah, but go ahead, guys.
Also, my setup's different this season for today because I'm not in my room. So.
And I will do the honors then of giving us our quick rundown. New change to the podcast this season. Don't worry, the actual official camera borders will be back when I remember, or when I sit down and actually do the creation process for that, because I'm gonna do something new for them. So now we just have the nice little name, the nice little floating text. But the stream will look a little better in that regard. Also new is on our show info tab, I have put the little logo for the streaming platform where you can watch these shows. Fun fact, it's either Crunchyroll or High Dive this season, so if you don't know what one of the logos is, but you recognize the other, that's what it is. One's Crunchyroll, one's High Dive. Crunchyroll will...
being Crunchyroll and High Dive these days.
Yeah.
Crunchyroll stealing Funimation makes it so much less accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's on Crunchyroll, it's also probably on Verve, and if it's Chainsaw Man, it's also on Hulu. But I didn't feel like going out of the way for those. So shows we
also gonna be on Netflix or something like that.
Maybe, I don't know.
Chainsaw Man is like one of the most Hulu anime ever. Like Hulu grabs a very specific set of anime, and it very much fits the set it would grab.
That is true.
Yes. And then Hulu also had Digimon, like all of Digimon for a while.
Yes.
I think it still has most of it.
It has the
It's
first.
very funny
It has the first 4 seasons of it. But that's besides the point. So our talking order is going to be related to the orders in which we picked our shows. So, John got the honor of first pick by chance. So the order of us talking
again, by the way.
We'll be going John's first show, Michael's first show, mine, then Mason. Almost the actual order that we are positioned in the stream. How horrible that we could not make that work properly. Thanks, fate. But then we will...
I can just switch my nickname.
If you do that right now during the stream, I will shoot you. Please do. No, we can do it for next week.
Trying to figure out a nickname that fits between both of yours would be even funnier.
No, so you don't know this, but on Discord right now, 3 or more names in this server start with W.
Your two are WH and then WI. So I need to have a WH that then has a later letter,
or WI
an earlier letter.
WHI is an earlier letter.
Like I could do window.
Like
that could just be my name, is window.
Window maker.
But that's for next week to figure out.
DIY.
Why would it be window? No idea. There's no actual reason for that. That's not an inside joke about any of the shows.
You said it.
But let's run through what we got on the docket. We got Blue Lock, Akiba Maid War, Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury, Urusei Yatsura, The Eminence in Shadow.
Was that really my second?
It was. Do It Yourself.
God, what a good pose.
Reincarnated as a sword. Chainsaw Man. Warning for a couple of these shows. Screenshots might have some graphic imagery. Probably should have said that before I switched over to it, but don't worry about that. Bocchi the Rock. My Master Has No Tail. Bibliophile Princess. And Shinobi no Ittoki. Also something we do this season, which I have to prep for the gang as well, is we rank the shows after we have watched them from 1st to 12th, and obviously adjusting as shows get removed. And we have a nice little power ranking to help kind of show
so I can get character names.
I know, Michael.
All by our taste and picks, because it never is, of course.
I looked at the screenshot for Shinobi and went, oh yeah, I remember 0 character names from that show, huh?
Oh,
and then I realized I also remember 0 of them for Master.
So, let me explain
and a lot of the shows.
The power ranking. Anything
God, mine is so fun.
Anything that is bolded means that person has that show in a sector of the power ranking that nobody else has it in. For example, I have Chainsaw Man in my middle section. Everybody else has it in the top. We'll talk about it.
Middle section's fucked.
John this season happens to have just all of it right now for the first week, which is fun. I can't wait to talk. There's a lot of interesting opinions. There's definitely not like a batch of shows that floats to all of our bottom of the list, which is really funny with a couple of exceptions. I'm really excited to talk about this season. Oh man.
Yeah, our bottom four is actually really similar. For the most
Michael and I actually have the exact. No, it's not. Oh, I thought Michael and I did, but no, it's we have a difference. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we do.
Wait,
No,
maybe yes.
Yes, one of your shows is much higher on your list. But
Yes.
again, we will get to that as we go. Oh man, do we just want to get into it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, John, you have the honors. Starting us off with Blue Lock.
All right, the Blue Lock. Hey, you guys ever want to like take soccer and be like, we got to make a team to win the World Cup? What do we do? Well, let's focus on one player, the guy who scores the goals, the striker, the big star, the superstar. We got to find the best one. What if we made it a battle royale?
What if we went
Fortnite?
Danganronpa?
What if we made it a battle royale where everyone's a striker? And then we make them play soccer. And that's Blue Lock. This show, my first main point about this show is one of the 6 animated shows this season. I mean, like, Chainsaw Man, obviously, we'll get there. Like, so beautiful and, like, most of it's shots, especially the action. But, like, Blue Lock, when it's, like, when there's characters moving and things are happening, it is one of the prettiest shows this season. Especially when it hits those high moments, as we saw in the first episode. So basically, like, our main character, he's a decent soccer player. He's kind of more of the team player type. He passes the ball in the critical moment. His teammate hits the goalpost. They lose the game. No, how could we do that? If I just took the shot, we could have won. And then gets invited to the Blue Lock program, which is like it's like 300 players. 300 players get locked in a pentagon. Don't ask why it's a pentagon, or it's like a hexagon. It's a shape.
It's a pentagon.
I think it's pentagon.
It's a pentagon.
Called Blue Lock, and where they must battle royale it out to determine who is the best striker that will lead Japan to the World Cup dominance by creating soccer from zero. Now, what's soccer from zero? Well, glad you asked, myself. So what if we just took all these strikers and then put them in teams based off how shitty they are? So Team A is 11 players of, like the top ranked players from like 0 through like 11 or whatever. Here's the problem: the letters go through Z. There's 11 players per team. Where's the rest of the numbers?
They mention it that there's that they skip a letter and it's 5 groups per section of the building.
Do we know what letter they skip?
We do not yet.
What letter do we all think they skip? What's your bet?
Here's the problem.
So we know it's not any of the last 5.
Here's the problem.
'Cause we've seen all of those.
11 times 25 equals 275.
Yeah, that's how many we have right now.
And then we took away 25 at the start. Yeah, because they eliminated
Is
one.
it?
Okay, yep, we're good. We're
Yeah.
good.
Do you think it's? Do you think it's?
The Ego goes over all of these
Oh,
numbers.
yeah.
Okay. We're good.
Yeah.
Like,
They made
I think
sure
it's
to do
very
their math.
funny. Because
Good math.
me and
Oh,
Sean,
like-
we Sean had the same thing. We were like, okay, so these are the numbers. This is how it's gonna have to. Then Ego immediately explained it 5 seconds later.
I'm like,
And I thought that was funny as
Elite,
fuck.
which is a show that did not care about its numbers when it made
Nope.
its anime.
Sure,
This
we are
one
playing
did.
the Planet game now.
And so, you have 275 kids all fighting for the spot to be the number 1 striker, and they're sorted from A to Z with 1 letter missing. I think it's like the top 11 are exempt, is what it is, from these games. I think that's what it was,
Oh.
maybe.
They might be
Sure.
they might be holding that letter spot for like the actual like last batch when they get
But,
down to the last 11.
Basically, each of these teams like plays each other right now in like a round robin where like it's 11 on 11, where everyone plays everybody once, I believe, of like a group of 5. And then the bottom 2 teams are just gone except for the leading scorer of each team. And so
Isn't
basically it
bottom?
just becomes like a scrum at the start.
It's bottom 3 are gone.
I think
It's only top
it's
2
bottom 3 or
teams.
bottom
Yeah,
2?
top 2 teams are gone.
Yeah.
If you lose twice,
Bottom 2 are gone. Because
You're
like, if you lose
guaranteed.
twice, you're like a tiebreaker at worst.
Yeah.
Which is based off like goal scored or something. I think probably is what they'll do. But basically, so our team has to like come together with these misfits because of course our guy is like the second lowest ranked player in the entire thing. And your rank changes based on performance. Here's the thing: nobody's rank has moved enough to move them out of the group into a different group yet. And there's some cracked players, which means there's even more cracked people because of course there's like a shonen battle anime.
This show's gonna be insane.
Show's gonna go buck wild. I have it a little bit lower than everyone else just because like, I'll be honest guys, like this season, A, I was very tired when I made this list, and B, Blue Lock was one of the first shows I watched, and C, there's a lot of shows this season where I just kind of watched it and went, I want more. I want to see more before I put it up there. The show looks really good, but I'm not quite sold on like the battle royale thing of it, right? Where it's like, there's the edgy guy who doesn't want to be a part of the team. He needs to score the goals, and like we need to come together to win as a team. And like
Nobody wants to be a part of this fucking team.
Nobody wants to be a part of the fucking team ever at all.
I think there's a notable thing you're missing here, John. The entire point of the Blue Lock is to make the most egocentric striker known to man.
True.
The whole point of it is
you
do not give a
team oriented. We're too good at defense. Therefore, we need to score more. We're gonna rebuild soccer.
They like Ego, the guy who is running this, legitimately says, "Fuck all the other team. You should be focusing on yourself to score goals." That's the whole point of this.
There are a couple of interesting
you win by having more points than the opponent.
I think one of my favorite things is like Ego's interjections in their conversations. But my only thing about it that I don't like is the fact that like, okay, every other team would also be having these conversations and talking amongst themselves. I feel like he doesn't have time to listen to all 25 other teams and then it'd be like, I gotta interject in the last place team real quick because I think this is gonna be the one.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, I think it'd be funny if they're all just having the exact same conversation and none of these are actually directed at anyone. These are just generic things being said to a group of 25 people.
So here,
a group of 25 teams that everyone's just getting bodied.
The neat thing is that it seems almost like he's interjecting, but if he was, he would have basically been like, "Hey, main character Kun, you got it. You figured it out." Because he says exactly what he was spelling out before he pops up.
He also pauses perfectly between characters talking and never interrupts anybody.
That's skill. See, I've watched enough death games where the mastermind has to have a skillful pre-recording to know that you just always anticipate someone talking. So it's going to be really funny if at some point in the show, he just stops talking and no one says anything and they're like, why was there a pause there? Because that would be good. That would be a good bit. I love that bit if they do it.
Look, I've played enough Danganronpa to know that like death game masterminds are really good at pre-recording shit.
You're not ready for the Zero Escape series.
But yeah, I something I just like Blue Lock. I put it at 6, but like Sean has it at 1. So it's like I'd love to see like why you rate it so highly, Sean, compared to some of the other shows on this list that like we also rated pretty similarly. I'd say. But like I'd say like my top 6 is pretty much like just like you can put them in a jar and kind of shake, and if whatever comes out, I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Except like obviously like I think some things deserve to be closer to the top. I'm just not sold on the Blue Lock yet. I just need to see more of it. I think is what it comes down to because I feel like it's been a bit slow, I guess, for me. And a bit like super formulaic, but that's okay. I mean, it's got like the 20. It's got the longer season, right? It's like 25. So
something like that.
Yeah, we got a lot of shows that are like 20, like 24, 25 this season.
Yeah, this one's 24.
So it's gonna be a little bit wonky. I think like Eminence of Shadow is 20, and like
it's 20. Again, we'll talk about it when we get there. The perfect number for this show, because it makes me go, what are you doing with 20 episodes? And then I look at the show. Yeah, it fits perfectly. We'll get there, though. Okay. I have a really good way to kind of put into perspective how much I like Blue Lock is that I legitimately think my only critique of the show is that I don't like when its mid-card pops up. Because it's a very generic mid-card. I don't get anything out of it. It's just the Blue Lock logo and sound effects, and it's the most "this is made for TV" mid-card I've ever seen.
Wait, you're talking about how Urusei Yatsura is 23 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's also split into 4
It's also
cores.
it's gonna be 4 core split. Yeah, it's not. We'll talk when we get there. It's not ending anytime soon.
Was 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how that works.
But Blue Lock does. I like so many of these characters, and there are just elements to this that, I don't know, I think coming off of Awashi, this is the exact kind of other soccer show that could be on the podcast for me to really enjoy it. Like, all of these shows we're going to talk about have really good OSTs. It's been, like, consistent this entire year of the podcast that it's been very hard to find a show that has a bad OST. Blue Lock's OST blows me away when it
That's
plays.
fair.
Like, it fits
Yeah.
everything. So, the scene where
Okay.
he's walking out and at the end of the first episode and, like, his team's lost and he's walking with his bike and the kids pass him, the soundtrack that plays there goes so hard. And it...
I think one of the things
Ah.
too with me show, I haven't watched it with headphones either. I think that's a big thing too.
It can be, yeah.
Now I gotta
Watching a
check
lot
where
of
you have a
Doctor Who
different
TV.
show based on that specific thing. Yeah, no, there's a reason that dropped out of your top 4. Understandable.
What? Gundam?
Yeah, Gundam's music fucking slaps,
Yeah,
but we'll get to
Yes.
that.
I had headphones
Yeah.
on from Blue Lock. I had no headphones on for Gundam. I watched that.
Oh,
early off
God.
TV.
Gunham on
Oh,
with
it slaps.
headphones
We'll
on
get there.
is
We'll get
fucking
there.
incredible.
With,
Oh,
with
episode
fucking
3.
RTX on.
But
Uh,
anyway,
I
that's for later.
another element to this, I love the little throwaway gags at the end of the episode, the little chibi things that they would normally just, you know,
Alright.
designate. Like, it's like a Jujutsu Stroll. This is just everything
is
I could have
non-fault.
ever wanted. Like, this is exactly...
It's shown in football.
It is the shonen soccer show that is specifically targeted at me. This is for me.
Yeah.
It was made for me. This is
Excellent.
Mario Strikers meets Birding Kabaddi. I love it. I'm in.
God,
Yeah.
Give me it.
It really is. Oh my god.
And there are so many... One of the things that I love about this show is that I don't have to remember character names. I can just describe them as the anime character they look like. So if I go Ichigo from Bleach, you know which member of the team I'm talking
Go
about.
Bakugo, you know what
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's so perfect. If I don't have to remember Ego's name, not that it's hard to remember, because I can just go, yeah, the dude who looks like a monster from Petal. Crazy there's no connection between Petal and this in any of the staff. It's insane because
And
he
we know.
is a
Now we
Petal
know.
character. From what I can find,
Universe has Yowamushi Pedal. We don't
we're
know.
gonna find out, yeah.
Like, the only character name I think you actually should remember is Bachira, because Bachira is best boy.
He's wonderful.
We love
Uh,
Bachira.
Bachira is fucking incredible.
If I wasn't looking at the list, I wouldn't have remembered the main character's name was Isagi.
Yeah, I do not remember that at all.
Do they call him by his
Okay.
his
They call him
family's
by
great.
Isagi.
I love his
That's what people
family.
call him.
His family's his
Okay.
mom and dad's a bunch of
Yeah.
idiots, and I love them.
Yeah.
If I can drop a real quick one more point, I want to make
Yeah.
is, like, I think my favorite part about the show that they did is in the first episode they took character, built up character, and said, "Get the fuck out. We don't want you here."
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's
so
what's going
good.
to be the show's
I
strongest
love
suit.
that they Tokyo Ghouled that character the fuck out of here. Also I like the fact that like characters are just gonna be dropping like fucking
Mhm.
flies.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mentioned
Every character has so much personality and such a
I
strong
want them-
character design, and
thing
the
is,
fact that
like-
we know an amount of them have to leave,
I feel like
Have-
we're gonna
have
get
to
too
die.
comfortable. with
lock
this.
off.
Like I think we're gonna get too comfortable with this group
Mhm.
before it happens. Like I think they're gonna introduce them far too much before we lose any of them, just because like it seems like half the season's gonna be this round
Yeah.
robin game, unless they're just gonna go like they won against team Y, they lost against team W. Time to play
It's
the best team, team B or
also
whatever.
really possible for us to lose people by them gaining additional points and boosting their rank and moving out. Because the two things we have to keep in mind
I will
are
see.
at the end of these round robins, people are getting extra points for most goals on their team and for the least amount
Hang
of
on.
penalties.
Hang on. Here's my question. What if a player moved into a different what if they decided to tally points before they removed teams? So like
That-
you drop to a lower team and then you get fucking kicked out because you're
I-
not important enough on your team that won.
What
Yep.
if this
That would
man
be
just called the
fucking sick.
fucking twist
Well-
of this entire
That would be
section?
While
Shit.
that would be really
fucking
funny,
wait.
I think that goes
no time to
entirely
do it.
against Ego's plan of what he's trying to do. So
No,
I don't
that goes
think
exactly with it.
Yeah,
If
'cause
you're
he just
so
said, "Hey,
say
this
you're
player
on
in
the
Team
team
B
that
is useless.
Barro's on.
Down to 299. You're in Team Z now. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, but like, say you're the people who are on Barro's team. Barrow carried that team. They just passed the ball to him. They didn't show anything. They get dropped to a lower rank because they didn't do anything for their team.
But here's my thing.
They didn't score ever.
Here's my thing.
It was
If he did
just
that-
him.
If he did do that, the guy would be eliminated so fast because this guy's a pussy and exactly goes against what they want to do with the striker. Like, our main character is literally
True.
exactly the opposite of what the striker
He's-
should be.
he's in that
He
transitional.
tries to, and then forego
He's
it.
he's cocooned. He is. I think I said it when Mason and I were watching for sure. I don't know if Michael was there. But he is your normal sports pro tag thrown into a sports show where he should not be the pro tag, because he is literally what
He's a
Aoi is
consultant.
trying to be an Awashi. Like,
Yeah, full
he
back.
he acts exactly the way that like they want Aoi to in the show, and you're like, oh, this is really good. He works perfectly with the right team setup. Oh, he doesn't. Oh, we don't want that right now. Actually,
We
you should
really
be.
don't want that
Why
for
don't you just kick ball and goal? Just go.
I
Kick ball
can't
and
wait.
goal.
I can't wait for this show to get sponsored by Monster Energy at some point.
Mobster.
Mockster.
Monster. Wait,
It was I think it was Mobster.
It's Mobster.
What do you guys think about Blue Lock, Mason or Michael?
I'm enjoying it. I think it's definitely not like at the top of my list, but it's definitely in the top 4 just because like it's sick as hell. Like the show is just sweet. I really like I like that we're kind of leaning into like the Kuroko way of doing a sports show where it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, these people have just fucking powers. Specifically Bachiro right now, but like I'm sure that's gonna show up later.
No, it's not even powers. They just enter the zone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They enter.
There's no
Yeah,
self
that's
power.
just yeah.
You just
That's
enter
right
the
from the
zone.
beginning. We have this bit that's just you enter the zone. You have this monster talking to you, or this beast
Yeah.
inside that
Classic
speaks
sports.
to you.
Yeah,
Inside you, there are 2 wolves.
Guys,
inside you there are 2 wolves.
I'm
They are
sorry.
fucking.
I have to interrupt for a quick pause. Michael, can you slide over a little bit? Like
It took-
move out of your frame a tiny bit? No, other way. Keep going. Keep going.
Wait,
Little bit
do you want,
more?
do you want
There we-
dog?
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It took me a bit to realize that there was a
Perfect.
dog back there, and then I saw the tail.
We just
wagging. I was
haven't like acknowledged
dog.
that the dog's there. So
Yeah, I
like
turned around and pet the dog, and then dog turned away.
I know.
like, "Oh."
But he knows you're busy. He doesn't want to interfere.
True. She be vibing.
Sorry, she.
Yeah, her name is Winnie.
She's a queen.
Aw.
She's an old lady.
Love her.
She's like 10 or something. She's
Aw.
old. Old lady.
But back to Blue Lock and murdering people with soccer balls. There's an element of Blue Lock that I also think is really interesting, which is it's also Classroom of the Elite in that the better you are, the better your life is.
Yeah.
And
That's
I can't.
likely.
You said it, John. I cannot wait to see to have a little bit of time where they're like, hey, I'm gonna show you what the top games look like, and it's just everybody in the zone all the time on fire yelling at
Yeah.
each other.
Yes.
Like I don't know where this show goes.
Yeah, no,
Looks
like, yeah, like they show clip of a top game and it's just
See
the
that-
DBZ
You
fight.
guys remember those old sports games that were like the super aggressive ones, like NHL Hits, MLB
Oh,
Slugfest?
NFL
Red
NFL
Card.
Rush or NFL
Mason died.
Blitz. Can you hear me?
You're good.
NFL Blitz, NFL Blitz.
NFL Blitz.
No, the soccer one version was called Red Card, and I remember playing Red Card 2003 on my PlayStation 2 so fucking much, and you just like body check people and like just like that's what the show is basically gonna become.
Oh,
John-
just I loved NFL Blitz where you could just bash people in an alleyway out of the way as you're tackling them. It was great.
NFL Street.
John,
Yeah, NFL Street.
they also mention
This
your
show
favorite
reminds me of-
sport in this sport. They call out all Japanese baseball players to just be like, they all do this. It's why we're so good at baseball.
No, they said that about soccer players actually. They're talking
No,
about
they-
all the soccer players in the show.
No, they said it about baseball players,
Oh,
but
no,
they were
they-
like, yeah. They were like,
Japanese
no,
baseball
Japanese-
is pretty good.
They're like,
they're
you need to
Japanese players-
not.
Monkey baseball.
Monkey
Um,
Great
baseball.
monkey baseball.
That's why they didn't talk about specific players.
Michael, do you have
Baseball's
other-
bit.
Do you have other thoughts?
I don't know if I really have anything else to add. But yeah, Blue Lock is just enjoyable sports shenanigans.
Yeah.
I really like how all of the characters are very distinct and feel like the show's big thing is that every character here would have been a main character in their own show. They're either a main character or or at least a rival character in
They're
another
the main
show.
character of their individual.
Which
team.
is why I like that so many of them look like protags from other shows, because it really
Yeah,
does
like,
feel
yeah,
like
that's
you've
the thing.
sucked them
Like,
into.
you see Kunigami and you go, yeah, no, that means Ichigo Bakugo.
And there's also just Bakugo.
Yeah. There's just Bakugo. Who's voiced by Inosuke's voice actor.
No, I think so. The important thing is that Blue Lock is one of the shows I finished earlier in the batch, and I'm trying to just keep in mind with my power ranking how much I've really enjoyed every episode of this show I watched, which is why, like, for me, I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure this deserves to be up there at the number 1 spot right now. In
That's
terms of
fair.
both my
recency bias
enjoyment,
very much probably kicked into this.
yeah, both my enjoyment and its quality. because that's like the thing that's really button heads this season for me, is that there are some shows that I absolutely have to admit are like really top tier quality in terms of how it's being produced, but also there are some shows that I just absolutely adore. And we'll get there.
I feel like Chainsaw Man is that show where it's like, man, this show is absolutely outstandingly produced. It's so well done. But when you look at the plot, it's kind of just like paper thin.
We'll
But it's
talk
a
about it. The
really-
beginning of
but-
Chainsaw
but
Man
really-
is a
We'll get to
time.
that.
but
We're
it's a
gonna get
really-
to that.
Like no, it's paper thin, but it's like goddamn nice piece of paper. It's like that photo paper, you know,
Yeah.
like it's nice paper, but like
Hey.
man,
Hey, speaking of a show,
also it's so impossible to avoid Twitter spoilers
Hey,
in that
Michael.
show.
yeah, good, but you should honestly, John, you should just mute Chainsaw Man on Twitter.
Yes.
You should just do everything in your power to not look at anything Chainsaw Man related on Twitter.
Because it will get spoiled for you.
Hey, Michael,
Akiba
what the
Maid
hell
War.
is this show?
Yeah, what
That's
the
a good question.
Actually, no,
Oh,
no. I
Michael.
do think I know what the show
maid
is.
being
Who
dead.
the hell is this show made for?
Yeah.
Maids.
No. No, it's not.
That's who it's
Ma,
made
ma,
for.
ma,
My best guess would be the cast of Lord of the Flies. That's
Yeah.
like a very big.
mafia members who wish they were maids? Is this...
Yeah.
Talk about Maid
yeah,
War.
So this show, made by PA Works, studio famously known for making shows like Another. And that's about the only thing they've made that's somewhat similar. When I think of PA
Also-
Works, I think of Iraduku: The World in Colors.
PA Works
Works on
is-
the White Sand.
PA Works is Angel Beats, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot they
yeah,
did.
they
They
are.
did do Angel
That's
Beats 12
because
years
it's
ago.
PA Works, not Kyoto, right? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that is them. I tend to forget they did that. 'Cause
Spoilers, I'm implying that Angel Beats has similarities to Akiba Maid War, and like, maybe just one element, maybe a slight element.
They do it at about the same time in both shows. Like right at the end of episode 1, you're like, oh,
Angel
this
Beats
is a thing.
Angel Beats is a show where occasionally they will pull out a machine gun and you go, oh right, that's in this show, I forgot.
oh yeah, that's a thing the show does. But yeah, so Akiba Maid War, best way to describe it is, girl becomes a maid at a maid cafe, only to realize maid cafes are actually the mob.
Yes.
This show tries to do like comedy stuff, and it is very funny sometimes. There's some really good bits. Like at the end of episode 1, where it cuts rapidly between a character doing a idol performance at their maid cafe, and then another character killing a large amount of people in the street, but mimicking the idol performance.
Like, yeah.
It is amazing. It is an absolutely amazing bit. But the entire time, main character is being given trauma because she didn't sign up for this. But now she's stuck here because it's the mob.
No,
This
hold
show
on,
is
hold on a minute.
insane.
She could easily leave the business. She's
But
had multiple opportunities to be like, actually, I'm out, but she just continues to convince herself that if she tries to leave, she's going to get shot, which you have no proof that is how that's going to work.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess we don't have proof. I just assume.
She
that
might
when
be
goes
too
to
deep
leave,
now.
She has to be erased.
We're three episodes deep. Probably too late now, but at the end of episode 1 or 2, she probably could have got out of there.
Maybe after
Yeah.
episode 1. Maybe she could have left then.
Oh.
But yeah, this show is absolutely bonkers and insane.
Watch this show.
Not particularly good. But it's a time. I will say this show is anything but boring.
It's I see. I disagree, and here's why. Because the show, every episode had the exact same sequence of events. It's like maid stuff, mafia plotline,
Thank you, John.
kill everybody to solve the problem. Oh no, you killed everyone to solve the problem.
What's the weird, wacky thing that's going to keep us in debt this week?
Ah.
Oh, we
you're
accidentally
getting
sold her
adulty now.
pancreas. Whoops.
Oh, we got our money back to buy your pancreas back. Hey. I really just did not like. Let me set the scene for how I watched the show. By the way, so last week, I was recovering from a really bad head cold. I tested twice negative for COVID, and my parents, unfortunately, tested positive for COVID. So we're like, I don't want to get COVID before con, right? Because I'm going to con this week, And so I'm like, I'll stay at my girlfriend's place for a couple days, right? I gotta watch anime anyway. She goes to bed early. I can just pop out on the TV. You know, she wants the noise in the background. Works out perfectly because my schedule is like I stay up till 9 a.m. Literally just putting this on. You know, girlfriend asleep next to me, just watching a show, and I'm just like in my head, I'm just going, what the fuck did I just turn on? Like what?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Wait, it's important to say.
Because I'll be honest, the first like 5 minutes, I was like, okay, this shit kind of
It's
wild.
neat. It's kind of like it's got a little bit of a Licorice
After the first
Recoil
episode
feel.
over, you're like, okay, that was some fucking whiplash. Second episode rolls around, and you realize, oh, it's just the same bit. I'm sure the third episode will be No, it's just no.
See,
okay,
The same bit.
you're gonna hear us say the phrase, I got to the end of the episode and went, what the fuck am I watching? About another show.
Why?
But that show has a lot. I like
But
it
that show did that
significantly
3
more.
times in 3 different ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
It also has characters I like. Oh boy, do I not
Exactly.
care about any of the cast in this show. And is
Yeah.
everything maid related incredibly awkward.
Yes.
I've talked about this when we watched Call of the Night last season. And about how like
I will say Maid War though. I did like the third episode a little bit. The boxing stuff I thought was okay.
No,
I didn't
Boxing
like
stuff
bet-
was fine.
I think the stuff between those two characters
PA
was
works
really good.
PA Works should
I've
make a
seen it.
boxing show.
I think
That's what it
everything
told
happening-
me.
I think everything happening in the background of the boxing was kind of mid, but
Yeah,
the boxing
very
itself
dull.
was kind of sick.
It really
Like, the action in the show
was.
actually pretty good.
Put EA Works in charge of Megalobox Season 3.
Yeah.
Do that, and we're good.
PA Works makes pretty shows.
No,
Like, that's just what they knew.
I think I would enjoy the end of episode 3 a lot more if it felt like we were going to a plot at all anytime soon. Right now, it just feels like we're gonna do this for maybe the first 6 episodes, and then we'll introduce a through line at the end to explain like how she's an old maid who used to be with the mob and she worked the old times or whatever. I don't know. I think another element why I don't like these characters is that these character types just aren't enjoyable for me, especially the way they're mixing them. Like
They're also super tropey.
yeah,
The main character is very much the innocent person who has no idea what's happening.
she's also an
have-
airhead even beyond
Like
that.
us.
Oh my
Yeah,
lord, is she
Yeah,
dense?
and you have the shorter one who's just an asshole, but is really good at playing up the cutesy persona.
You
Gyaru,
have-
whose entire persona is that she's Gyaru. That's it. That's
My
the only
Gyaru
thing
is
we
a
know
gal.
about her.
Mhm.
And then you have the one who's 30 years old, and she's kind of funny because she just plays everything straight. But also, she's the one who causes the end of every episode to just be, "We killed everyone. Oh no, we killed everyone."
You-
And then that
Now
gets
you-
boring.
You
now
forgot
you
to.
do this. Now you also have the 30-year-old who's from Mother Russia, and she's here now to join the maid cafe.
Who we also
Why
felt
did
the
you go
need.
for a French accent on that one?
My brain is tired, Mason.
I know.
Who we also decided
understand all
to
that.
block out of the OP for, in my mind, no reason.
I think it
Yeah.
was funny that we had a character
No,
play out of the OP.
It is funny,
But there's
but
zero reason for it. I think it was
Uh,
kind of funny.
best character in this show is the panda. Worst character in this show is the owner of their maid cafe. Oh my god, do I want her to
Yes.
die every week?
Every single time. Because every single problem is caused by her and never solved by her.
No. There is something. There is
It's actually
something.
made worse by her every single time.
Yeah, there
Yes.
is something to be said about watching episode 2, and and it's intentional. Obviously, I know the show's written to do this in a very particular way. But I cannot express to you how irritating and how much it made me want to explode the way she talked about gambling.
Yeah,
I know the
like
point
her-
is that she has everything wrong about it.
The bit where she is talking to the main character has won on slots her first 2 times
She's
playing slots.
they've already
That's
gone
impossible.
they've already gone net positive over the amount they need. They could just leave, and she's like, "No, you
On
never
slots, by the way.
you never walk
on
away."
slots out of every, like, if it were blackjack, it's like, okay, I get it, or like poker, fine, cool, I get that. Fucking slots though, like, no.
I've been to casino multiple times. You know how many slots I played? 0. I
I
go
have
straight to a
never been-
blackjack table, find a nice like $5 like per round bid, and I just like I hang out there for a couple hours. Like
I've
'cause-
never been to a casino, and I want to go, but never
Oh.
play slots.
Yeah, this
The-
show is
Two
competing.
rules to casino: 1, don't, and 2, wrong finger. And 2, if you do, take money you're willing to lose.
So here's where I am with this show. boy, is it in contention with other shows that I don't really want to watch another episode of. This one's in a really odd spot where it's not that I dislike an element of it or that it bores me. It's just that I really just don't want to watch another episode of it. Like, I know what's gonna happen. It almost feels like a waste of my time for something that doesn't give me a lot of joy comparatively. I'm interested to see how the voting will shape out in regards to these shows. Because, oh boy.
Hot take, I think we're getting a wheel this week.
We might.
But I think we're getting a wheel because I think 2 shows are going to get 4 votes.
Yeah, I agree.
At least 2 shows are probably going to get 4 votes.
Unless one of us decides we really don't like the other.
I think like one show's going to get 4 votes, and there's going to be like 3 or 4 shows that get 3 votes.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a fucking fiesta of like, oh man, next week will be fun.
Yep.
Other thoughts on Maid War?
It's a show.
God, this is a show that
it is the most show of all shows of all time.
Yes, it is one of the shows of all time.
It's one of the shows on the podcast.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so we have to explain. We watched the we also, in addition to the 3 episodes, we watched the prologue of this show as well, because thanks Gundam, you gave us a prologue. You technically don't need to watch the prologue in a weird way, but you should. You should absolutely watch the prologue. It's good, and it gives you important information about the world and its characters. We have a little flower, Soletta Mercury, who is I have a theme this season, which is just picking wonderful, wonderful shows filled with just amazing girls. And I will say that I have no regrets about any of them this season. Soletta is adorable. She's never gone to school before, and that's right, this is a Gundam about school, and still murder and politics and space war. I love it.
It's a new one. Like, Gundam has not been about school before, really. Like, it has, but not nearly to the same extent. Like, in this way.
So the
it's
base
really just high school, but like also they have Gundams.
Yeah, what works out really
Everyone
well.
has a Gundam.
What works out really well.
Gundam.
Well, everyone has a Gundam. It's the type of Gundam on which they have that may or may not be the problem, but we'll get there.
They don't have Gundams.
Yeah. So, the prologue and first 3 episodes really focuses around the main point of Soletta Mercury from Mercury, as we are saying, despite the fact that she is actually from Earth, has arrived at her new school and has accidentally stolen a man's fiance. And then she accidentally steals her fiance's fiance, as they now both want to be wedded to her temporarily or permanently. We'll see.
Doesn't everybody?
Everybody loves her, as they should. This show's going great. But basically, she sticks her nose into some business because she don't like how people act and be treating people around here at this school. And thus, the government of space gets mad. The space government, led by Palpatine.
The Gundam is kind of bullshit because it's an illegal Gundam, but she's cool.
But it's not illegal. That's the point.
It technically is.
It definitely isn't the Gundam we saw in the opening. It's definitely a different one. We promise.
So let's talk about this.
I would like to take a moment to explain something to everyone on the podcast.
Because I don't understand how any Gundam works.
Yeah,
so I also know the term Gundam means a different thing in every series.
Can I phone a friend who's in England right now?
So I'm going based off of our experience with watching Double O with Spoon, and then my experience watching IBO. Yes. So Gundam are fundamentally different from mobile suits.
Yeah.
The way they are different is mobile suits are just basically like they are moving suits of armor. They're mechs. That's it. Gundam are different in that they link to the consciousness of the person piloting them.
Yeah.
And therefore, if anything goes wrong, it can make people go brain dead.
So my theory is that the Ariel, which is Soletta's Gundam, has been modified further past where we first see it. In that it seems like you don't need to link to be able to use it, but shit's gonna get crazy when she does, because we know she can and we know she doesn't get affected by it, but we haven't seen the blue lines on her.
We've seen her use the power up.
What?
Whenever they use the power up, it does that red glowy thingy when they
Yeah.
connect with it.
Yes.
So we know she is connected with the Gundam during it. We just know she's also like super compatible with it, so it's not
Yeah.
harming her.
But
Which is why she's allowed to use
the
it.
interesting point is that Miorine, thank you, does use her Gundam, which is why I'm like, I kind of have the feeling that it's not as bad as some of the prototypes beforehand or the normal mobile suits were. But basically, by the end of episode 3, we've kind of settled the debts here, which is she's not going to get expelled, and her Gundam's not going to get torn to shreds, so long as people keep their end of the deals. Which, oh come on, you're gonna tell me Delling Rembrandt is not gonna keep his word? That'd be crazy. I couldn't imagine. The man literally looks at his council of people and goes, "I am king. My word is law. I don't care if I don't have evidence that your Gundam is a mobile suit. I say it is."
Yeah, I mean, within 4 episodes, we've had space battle, 2 Gundam battles, an attempted assassination, 2 different marriage proposals.
Tomatoes.
Like, we've had a lot happen.
Hang on. And a subplot where they know about the assassination and then blackmail the guy who tried to assassinate the main guy.
Yeah, you're right.
If they assassinated the main guy, would have not gotten her prosecuted for using the Gundam, but because she won the fight, they didn't kill the main guy. Like,
there's a lot going on in this show.
But if you want a simple introduction to The Witch from Mercury, this is a show about family. And I'm not wrong yet. It really is.
As far as I can see, I will say
Ariel.
As far as I can see as well, this is arguably going to be one of the better Gundams to get into Gundam.
Yeah.
Because A, it's not part of the Universal timeline, which is a whole mess of things.
That we know of.
They've said it's not.
Okay.
They've said it's not part of the Universal timeline.
That's good.
It's not part of there's I think one other timeline. I could be wrong on this, but it's very like specific and only applies to like 2 or 3 things.
We'll check with Spoon for next week.
Yeah, we'll John and I will talk.
We're gonna talk to the Gundam expert that we have in our group.
But yeah, like it's very good as a introductory Gundam because it's not as like it gets you into the base ideas of Gundam of hey, there's a difference between being born in space and being born on Earth. There is war between those people, but it's tenuously stable sometimes, most of the time. And Gundams are different from mobile suits.
It's not a Gundam anime. It's an anime with Gundam. Is how I'd put it.
It's the most by Gundam
anime than it feels Gundam, if that makes sense. Because you have your high school setting, you have your like class structure. As like Gundams have their own feel to it from the few I've watched.
As someone who got into the mecha genre through Code Geass, this is an even more friendlier way to get into the mecha genre than Code Geass is.
Look at Travis P.
So we're gonna talk about this, I imagine, at large. The OST slaps. The animation is stellar. This might be the most beautiful show I've seen in a while. Like this is a different kind of beautiful than Violet Evergarden is, but it hits me in the same way where like they'll do a large shot and I'm like, that's too pretty. Please stop.
Colors are very vibrant.
Sunrise.
If you really want to just get a feel for how the animation looks in this show, there's a clip of the first fight, and goddamn, is it pretty.
The characters are wonderful. I love almost all of them who are the children. This feels like the Gundam version of Thracia, where I've walked into a story that involves a bunch of children and I don't exactly know what their parents have done, but it seems like it's problems. Everybody's somebody's kid.
To cut off their little antenna on the top of the Gundam.
What a neat way to not murder each other.
Mason has been killed.
I know.
The Gundam that has like the tiniest horns to cut off, so it's like an advantage. Specifically in duels.
John, I swear you made that joke specifically just to get me.
Yes. Michael, how do you feel that when watching this show, whenever they initiate a duel, it sounds like they're about to card fight each other? Please, place your souls on the scales. Only those with the purest soul will win.
You must say the oath.
It is the equivalent of them in Card by Vanguard being, Now picture this: you are on the surface of the planet Cray.
Planet Cray. Right, Vanguard.
I love this show. I was heavily between this being at 3 or being at 5 in it and Chainsaw Man. And the real difference is that I just think I enjoy this more right now, and I don't think I'll have the I think it'll probably wind up swapping with Chainsaw Man long term.
This is literally for me. It's like I just enjoyed Chainsaw Man a little more than I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
So it's like this one ended up at 5 and that one ended up at 2.
But I mean, they're just all so good. You guys talk about Gundam, things you like, other things as well.
I like the high school aspect of it. I like the whole like dueling system. I think it's pretty sick. I like that she just goes in there and she's like I like the classic like super awkward country bumpkin, shy awkward, gets in the Gundam suit. I will win every battle ever. I am the king of the school now. Like
Yes.
I enjoy this school is set up like the school from Food Wars, but instead of doing
literally.
cooking battles, it just fights to the death.
Shit,
Not
it
actually,
literally
but
is just cooking wars.
But it's also like only for the pilots. We haven't really gotten to like any of the other school structure, but there are people who go to this
Yeah.
school not to pilot Gundams, and clearly there has to be like a level of like
engineering battle.
yeah, like who
engineers better?
makes
Team.
the
Yeah,
best
It's a team
Gundams.
thing. It's like who's the shot caller,
Now-
who's like the engineer behind it, like
Yeah,
who's working
I
the tech.
assume you have like people who are scouts based on some of the characters we've seen who do not seem like they are pilots and seem more like they are behind the scenes people who scout or who like
Yeah.
Very love interest, who's clearly like the big like tactician.
I love her. Michael goes to me.
Gardens.
Michael goes to so we have a couple of fun characters in this show
You
already.
can talk about anything, but if you touch the tomatoes, I will kill you.
One of the characters we have is Nika, who is
Nika's great.
she's the blue-haired one who's like the big tech sav
she-
of the group.
Black
But
on the outside, blue on the inside.
yeah,
For the
we're
hair- for the hair
we're
color.
we're watching this and Michael goes,
It
"Sean,
looks great.
what does this character remind me of visually?" And I'm like, and he goes, "I feel like a Pokemon thing." I'm like, "I don't know, the female protag from Sword and Shield. That's the best I can do for you."
She looks so much like
I-
Gloria.
Oh, Gloria?
I-
Okay.
or a character out of
Yeah,
Wonder
okay.
Egg because it very much has like she has like the Wonder Egg face.
Yeah.
That's not
Like,
a bad
if
thing.
you
Character
took
design's
if you took the hat or Gloria's beret off or whatever hat she has, I don't know what. If you
Yeah,
took her hat
okay.
off, it's like actually the same fucking character.
Yeah, you're right.
No, but I love all
It's
these
wild.
characters. Even our asshat son, who like the third episode really makes you go, yeah, no, you're the type of asshat I will eventually get to like. Keep your hands off her girl though. Both of them goes both
When's
ways.
he gonna ask for marriage? I think episode 5.
So I'm very excited as someone who has interacted with Gundam the most out of everyone here. Because there are a couple of things that are just standard throughout all Gundam. And there is the one that I'm very excited for is the masked character, where so we have a masked character. How the masked character works in Gundam is it's someone that is the rival character to start off with. And then something weird fucking happens to them, and they put on a mask and they become a different person. Such as in Gundam 00, we have this random dude who fights for the U.S. Armada or whatever it is, and then he decides, "Fuck it, I don't like that," and becomes Mr. Bushido, and it's wonderful.
This is an
Mr.
offhand.
Bushido.
This is an offhand
The
remark,
Bushido.
but I want you to.
I love
There,
Mr. Bushido.
nothing captures one of these characters more than going to the Mal page for this show and looking at the cast and seeing that the only characters whose portrait is like a really high quality screenshot from the episode is Shaddix, and it's the funniest thing because it makes him look ridiculously hot, and which
Shaddix
fair.
great. Yeah, it's hot.
Shady.
Hey Sunrise, you
Yeah,
make
you're right. Oh my god.
Sunrise, you make mech shows. Why did Tomato look so good?
Yeah. What the hell is up with that?
I think they
Tomato.
like extra juicy though.
Oh.
Yeah, no, the show is just really, really good. It somehow within a matter of 3 minutes completely turned me around on how I felt about Gwell, or the fuck you pronounce
Yeah,
that fucker's name.
Well, yeah.
God, was his fight so good in episode 3?
Yeah, it was
The
incredible.
entire inner turmoil about his family installing the AI and stuff was all so fucking good. god, it was such a good fight.
Shout out to
Like I truly wasn't sure. Like it was one of the things where I was like, are they gonna like tie or something? Because it feels so wrong to have him
you
lose
don't.
right
Yeah,
now.
it doesn't it suck to go. Man, I kind of want this. It's again.
I kind of wanted him to win, but he can't win
Michael,
because then our main character gets
I'm
expelled.
I'm not saying it. It's like card fights and card fight Vanguard. But there are some times when you go, shit, I kind of want the other guy to win, even though I know the team can't lose.
Here's the problem: if the team loses, she dies.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
But no, I mean, I really enjoyed our first 4 episodes of this show. That prologue stabbed us. It didn't need to do that, but they decided to do old stabbing early.
Well, I knew that.
Yeah. Oh god, like I knew it was going to happen. I was
watched
not
enough
expecting.
Gundam, I know the second the good guys decide to take action, shit hits the fan.
Yeah. So notable thing about Gundam as well is most of the main characters are usually terrorists.
Fun fact about the.
Hey, that means
fun
I'm gonna
fact
love
about
it.
Most Gundams too. Most of the bad guys are usually Americans.
Yes, usually.
That means I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
But again,
like-
that's the same thing with Jujutsu Kaisen now.
Hey guys, did you know at some point in time we're gonna do a How Good Is It episode of Terror and Resonate?
Eventually.
Eventually. We were gonna do it. John got sick. Not his fault. Sorry.
I almost died.
Sorry, this show is peak because it had a scene in the prologue where, as a child, Soletta just goes, "Look at pretty lights," as she murders people in space.
Yeah, it's
Murders like
15
20.
people die.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. She can count. I'm so proud of my little girl.
Yo.
Oh.
This
Mason.
little piggy's here for murder. This little piggy's here for genocide.
And her
this little
mom-
piggy makes him go wee wee wee
her-
all the way to hell.
Her mom's looking on like, "Oh no, what have we done?"
What have we done?
And then they
We're
and then they
connected to the
do
Matrix.
and then they do the saddest happy birthday song I've ever seen
Yeah.
ever in any piece of
God,
media.
I was crying
And meanwhile,
listening
she's
to
been
that.
like, "Yay, happy birthday!"
Dad, where'd Dad go?
Why is no one singing? Where's my cake?
Those people who were listening to that, traumatized.
He was
Yes,
4,
we'll
by the
never
way.
hear happy birthday the same way
She
again.
was what, 4?
Yeah, she was
Yeah,
4.
she turned 4 that
That was
day.
her birthday.
Happy birthday. Hey,
When is she gonna like grow up and realize when she's finally become like, hey, those missiles can kill people. I think I have a distant memory of when I was younger.
this explains a lot about me. You know what's real fun? Urusei Yatsura. Hi,
Oh, yeah,
hi,
right.
Mason. It's your
Yeah,
girl
forgot.
to talk
We
about
talked
your
back
show.
and do this later.
Yep, you don't
Yeah,
get to
we'll
talk
go
about
switch
Chainsaw
it.
yet.
Okay, so Urusei Yatsura, if you didn't know, is like the first ecchi, and I say that very like that it technically falls in that it is more of a comedy more than anything. Urusei Yatsura is all about Matsuboshi, who is a guy who is just kind of a piece of shit. He is dating a girl named Shinobu, and all he does is like fawn over other girls the whole time.
He
And
is.
he's just
He's sometimes dating Shinobu.
he's sometimes dating Shinobu.
They're on and off.
And then all of a sudden, aliens invade Earth. And
Mhm.
they have a thing where they decided, yeah, we'll give you guys a chance. If we had our computer pick a random human all across the world, and they're gonna play us in a game of tag. If they win, we won't invade. If they lose, we invade. It's really simple. So he plays this game of tag against the princess of the aliens named Lum, who is very, very cleanly pictured here. This is happening right after he wins the game of tag.
Spoiler, she wins.
And this whole sequence happens over the course of like 10 days. And Shinobu, because he is, if he wins, he's the savior of Earth. He's like their only shot of not being enslaved by aliens. Tells him, yeah, if you win, I'll marry you. And so he is like, he's amped up, he's ready to go. He's shouting about marriage the whole time while they're on the last day, and he ends up winning. And Lum misunderstands this and thinks that he's proposing to her.
I wonder why.
And she's into it. And she decides that she's gonna marry him. Hijinks ensue.
That's the show.
That's the show. That's all this show is. It's just zany zany antics and like it's a rom-com, just eyes.
Wacky antics ensue, as we say.
Wacky antics
You know,
ensue.
I'm Q. I agree.
So, an important thing to note about Urusei Yatsura, 1981,
Minor
Mason, or
note,
83?
81, because the
81.
manga came out in 78.
Yeah.
Holy
This is
shit.
like the
This is
the grand
progenitor
of rom-com
of
tropes.
rom-coms. Yes.
And if you're familiar with this mangaka, whose name I don't have on hand right now,
No.
but Ranma One Half, Inuyasha, as someone who's watched a little bit of Ranma and who's watched a lot of Inuyasha, woo, do they have a style?
Yeah.
If you like either of those two and you somehow haven't seen Urusei Yatsura, or you really like the original, you should check this out.
Yeah,
It's just
pretty.
it's very pretty. And
It's
there
literally
are
like they just
things.
took-
You go ahead.
What I've gathered from like Twitter is it's literally just like they just took the original and said, but what if we put it in 4K?
Yeah.
It literally just went, hey, let's take the original, let's kind of rewrite it a little bit to make it more like, it definitely feels like it's more modern, and also it's the idea of, we realize that some of these jokes have not aged well, so we're going to act like, we're going to make it more of like we're taking the piss out of it, and like making it super serious to the point where you can't take it seriously,
So
and go from there.
here are things to note that this author does that if you don't like, you're probably not gonna like this show, or Inuyasha, or Ranma One Half. Do you not like it when a female character gets very aggressive at a male character for doing dumb shit, mostly pervy?
Being a piece
Whoops.
of shit.
Yes.
Do you not enjoy watching old monks who look like they should not be in shows, but instead are some kind of pest that should be removed from planet Earth in its entirety? Whoops, it's gonna exist. Do you like exorcists who create black holes to suck up why does this keep happening? How does this keep popping up in his work? I don't. Or her. I actually don't remember.
I think it's a her.
I think it's a
Yeah,
her.
it's a her.
I want to say his manga is female.
Yeah.
But I don't actually remember.
What I'll say about the show is cute. I just hate our main character so much. Like, episode 3 was pretty good. I think it was really funny where like you have the two male leads who are both like, hey, I want that one. Yeah, I want that one.
Yeah, I think
You know
Shutaro.
about Square.
Deal.
I like Shutaro being added into this cast. I think
It helps.
I think he definitely fit. So I absolutely hated episode 1. I thought I cannot stand the main character, and I think Lum gets annoying within 30 seconds.
I liked the game of
Fair.
tag. I didn't really care for the end of the first
I think
episode.
the game of tag was fine. Like,
I think
that was kind of
carries
neat.
until she doesn't.
Yeah.
And then the moment she starts hanging around him constantly, I'm like, okay, this is I've had 3 gags in a row that were the same bit. That's just her shocking him for no reason because
Hey
she
guys,
felt like
look,
it.
Ash got a Pikachu.
Yeah.
Episode 2 was
Pokemon.
more of the same, where it was just them kind of vibing and me being annoyed at
Is
Moriboshi for everything he did, and Lum for existing and being annoying.
is it 2 or 3 where she
It's-
gets the ribbon?
It's 2.
2.
That's
I
a
think-
plot of 2.
I think her without the ribbon's adorable, or her with the ribbon's adorable.
Yeah,
I
yes.
think
The reason
I think she
the reason she's wearing a
shines in
ribbon
that
episode
episode.
3.
Yeah, she shines in that episode. I think when like
And episode 2 at the end of it introduces a new character.
Yeah.
Who when you first meet him, you go, this character sucks, and you hate him. Because that's the bit. You hate all these characters. They're all terrible human beings. Except Shinobu's
He's a terrible
fine.
alien.
Shinobu's
Shinobu
just a
has
normal
every-
fucking person.
Shinobu
No,
has every right to be as
everybody
angry
can
as she is.
so
But then we get the bit in episode 3, so we get the love square, where it's just a square of people who like each other. But the person who likes them is the other direction of the square.
hey,
And I
if
think it's really funny.
if
There's
you
always
like
a square in that
Shinobu,
line.
you should watch Inuyasha, because that's what Kagome is. They went, what if instead of having Shinobu be a side character, we make her the main character? This is Kagome's whole thing, is that, like, her and Inuyasha have a relationship dynamic very similar, except Inuyasha's not really a pervert. He's more of just he's a shonen battle guy.
Yeah.
She gets mad at him for being a shonen battle idiot rather than a pervert idiot.
Yeah.
But they have very similar energy.
Also, I looked it up, by the way. It's Rumiko Takahashi. It's
Thank you.
it's a woman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
But I mean, personally, I really enjoy this show. I think it's one of those things where as long as you recognize that it is a remake of a much older work.
Yeah.
Like this manga is coming up on 50 years old at this point. Like, it's old. So I think as long as you keep that in mind, I think it's a pretty enjoyable show. And also, like, I get the whole like not liking the characters, but it's one of those things where I think the whole point of it is that the characters do grow on you and become better people as they go on.
I enjoyed the second half of episode 3. The cave bit was all great.
Yeah.
That was actually like good comedy writing.
Can we talk about
I didn't find episodes 1 and 2 very funny, like, at all, which was my biggest issue.
Funny, even though you knew exactly what was going to happen. And that's the sign of good writing.
The bit where where Taru covers their eyes.
That bit was great.
Taru loses it is so good.
See, my issue with that bit, though, is I said this as I say this as a joke constantly anytime it happens, is that comedy comes in threes. He didn't need to cover their eyes like 15 times. We got the joke after the second time.
I disagree. I disagree. I think
Yeah.
it was a good bit, and I think it didn't overstay its welcome.
For me, it got less funny more times he did it.
Fair.
I was like, oh, this is a good bit. Oh, they're doing it again.
There was another bit in that episode that also got me, and I just can't.
I mean, I enjoyed how when they do the okay, we're gonna split up. I thought the first time
it was gonna be them.
It was gonna be the guys together.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it, and they do it again, and they do exactly what you expect them to do. I was
Like,
like,
it's great.
That's good.
I knew they were gonna mix up the partners at first, and then they did it again. I'm like, okay, now it's gonna be the guys, right? Okay, but like it was still a good bit. I'm like,
Like that was a good bit. I like that.
I still
bit.
just don't like our main protagonist is just a piece of shit.
Welcome to the
And with
80s.
how long this manga ran, he's just gonna be a piece of shit for this entire season, and that's okay. But that doesn't age as well for keeping my interest.
So
Yeah, I just don't find a lot of the
show
jokes
aged
funny.
okay. Honestly, I think it's aged
Yeah.
pretty well, but I just think it's just like it's like when I rewatched Haruhi. It was like, I can see what they went for the times, but these are no longer the times.
there are
Something still hold.
there are two
Comedy is subjective.
Yeah.
And this is
Something's
not
really
my
fun.
type of comedy.
Yeah.
there are two
Sure.
points I want to make. Well, I guess three.
Very subjective.
I'll make that quick add-on one real quick. This is gonna be a show that when it has a bad week, it's gonna have a bad week. For like, if there's an episode where like the whole episode or like it's one big bit or the two bits or the 3 bits, however they decide to fit in an episode, if all of those fail, that's bad for it.
Literally episode 2 of the show.
But it's
This
gonna
is, like,
have
week
yeah.
3, doomed.
If it's gonna have so much content though, it's going to have stuff for someone in the long run. On a weekly podcast, this show's out of handicap for sure.
Yeah.
Second, dude, the OP for this is such a cool idea.
Oh, it's
The
so
premise of the OP
good.
is so cool. Showing shots of the manga panels. My favorite thing that was pointed out to me before I got the chance to even watch the OP, but I loved it when I watched it, was when he's swiping through Tinder, and Lum's photo gets progressively closer every single shot. It's very good. And the
He pulls
idea
it down and everyone around him is love.
Yeah, and I think the fact that you can do that in the opening, knowing that you aren't going to do it in the show because you don't want to break the time period that it was set in, is a really cool idea for the show.
The phone with the dial.
Also,
that like if you didn't grow up in the 90s, you have no idea how that phone works or what it is. You're just like, why is he spinning it in a circle?
Lum in casual clothes. Poggers.
Oh my god, yes, such a good outfit.
Best part of the cave bit.
Such a good
They're
outfit.
in all the fashion in that bit.
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
wonderful.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
When they
incredible.
do the pan shot and you're like, oh, is he with Shinobi? Oh, it's Lum in casual clothes. Queen.
Wow, she's cute and lovable now instead of just in love.
It's a
Had the
shame
bow
that-
on. It was so nice looking.
It's a shame that 80% of guys in this show are gonna be sex pests, who I hate.
Yeah.
Gotta love the 80s.
And then the other 20% are just obnoxious assholes.
Yeah. Michael and I
Also
talked
sex
about this.
pests.
Yeah, Michael and I talked about this, and it's the last thing I want to touch on. You can't not watch this show and recognize how much Lum does as a character archetype for so many female characters in anime to go on with. The two that Michael and I really talked about were Zero Two.
Jellymon.
Yeah, Jellymon and Zero Two.
Jellymon is actually just love.
It's insane that
great.
she's
That's
just. I showed
hilarious.
Mason. It's literally like her main source of attacking: electricity. She calls someone darling. She doesn't like him.
flies around
She flies
everywhere.
around
She just-
everywhere.
She just leaves through the window when she
She
feels
even
like it.
she even does Lum's like arms behind the back, like hover in mid-air pose so frequently in the show. It's insane. Yeah, no, but I don't dislike this show. It didn't get into my bottom 4 because of the fact that it had moments I generally enjoyed, and I think there are going to be elements to this I do like. I don't need this gone now. Is certainly how I feel.
Yeah, I think the show is honestly perfectly fine.
Also, new character next week. It seems.
Yeah.
Or at some point.
We
might
get, like this show, from what I know of it, adds quite a lot of characters as it goes on. And
Again,
the opening seems to show at the beginning, like when the Space Invaders reference.
Mhm.
Very much seems like there's going to be a lot of female characters introduced.
Yeah. I guess there's one more thing. I do like that there are times where Shinobu is also at fault. It's not always Ataru. Ataru's always to blame. But sometimes Shinobu can share in that blame, and also sometimes Lum can share in that blame.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Sometimes Ataru is just kind of sitting there, and then Lum does some bullshit, and then Shinobu gets mad at him for it.
At some point,
Ataru's just trying to get laid by the girl he actually likes. And
at some point,
he's back to actually just get the girl.
Yeah.
And now he's got himself in such a situation where he literally is getting followed around by a girl that's obsessed with him, who literally's whole job is just to sabotage his attempt at getting back to his old girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. On one hand, I would love for Ataru to actually be with the person he wants to be with. On the other hand, you blew your shot too many times, my dude. Stop being a sex pest. But let's move away from what I hate. This is the next. Hey, Dodge, talk to me about the Eminence and Shadow. I'm gonna mute and laugh for a while. Don't mind me. This fucking show, dude.
Different things.
All of them are completely different genres.
I was very confused when I turned on episode 1, and I went, "Why are we in a normal high school? It's weird. Is this taking place in the real world? No." And so our main character is just your average Joe. He's just Jim in the background, not
They
the
really
main
could have
character.
just
But we're
named him Joe.
But we're following down the big, the main hot girl. She puts on a good face. She's Kushida from Classroom Elite. She's friends with everybody.
Yeah.
She's nice. She's the president of the class. She's Miss Goody Two Shoes. She's rich. And then one day she has to walk home, and so she gets kidnapped, which is apparently the second time it's happened in her life. But she doesn't matter, because as she's gonna get sold off, bam! Through the window comes main character protagonist, who by the way is in what, middle school right now? High school?
They're in their first
Second
year
year
of
high
high
school?
school, I think. First or second year.
Turns out, main character has been training for years to become this hero of the night. The man who works in the shadows.
The Balaclava.
No one knows about his deeds, but he
Balaclava
does them
brawler.
anyways. He's like Batman, but without the glory.
And with crowbars.
He is
And with
the
the
Eminence
crowbar.
in Shadow.
Apparently, crowbars are the optimal weapon, he determined. Because the
John.
blunt end can break bones, and the other end can just fucking stab a motherfucker.
Can we
You can spin them like condos,
John,
and
John,
that's
I'm
pretty
gonna-
cool.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna. Can we just talk about the show in its entirety without this? Is we're gonna be here for so long if we
Yeah.
try to. This show is if
Okay,
this show.
here's the thing.
No, I think this was all a bit, 'cause he was gonna
Yeah,
say all this stuff
yeah.
and then go, and then the truck arrives.
No, hang on. Let me do it. Let me do the bit. Fuck. Let me do the bit. So then he saves the girl, and he doesn't reveal his name. In fact, she never gets to thank him, because tragically he meets Truck Coon and gets transported to another world at the end of the first episode. And now, being the genius that he is, runs it back and decides, yes, now I'll be the Eminence in Shadow that I always wanted to be, because now I have one thing I always needed: magic. Because I was banging my head against a rock and then jumped down in front of the street and got hit by a
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
And so now he's in another world, and he grows up with a barren family from like a minor royalty, and now he's got to live his high school life again, but this time Magic Kingdom rich boy famous high school. And he's just the average Joe with the average friends, but he's got to ask the hottest girl out because of a dare. And then she says yes, and now he's her pet because she doesn't want to get married to the teacher in a political marriage.
Yes.
And so, like, now he's in, like, the A class for sparring, which he's actually good at. But, like, by the way, he actually did run, like, the Eminence and Shadow Guild when he was younger, because he, like, found a slime monster that's actually an elf that was, like, overcome with, like, a magic curse thing.
We have to
Now-
talk about the fact that this man
By the way,
walked into a
hang on.
fantasy situation. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I got to the best part where he rescues this elf girl and then goes, I got this. I'll ad-lib my way into making this shadow organization, and then accidentally ad-libs his way into an actual shadow organization, fighting off an actual overarching villain of, like, the cult of Diablo or whatever.
Diablos.
Diabolus cult.
Diablos. And so now he has the 7 waifus of harem who are
Or is it
actually
Diabolos?
very competent, very
It sounds like a
useful,
Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yes.
who are literally
It probably
literally
is.
like, he is just fumbling his way into being a mastermind 5,000 IQ genius. Because now he actually has a set organization. But then we get to episode 3 where it's like, they left me because they had to fight their deed, which he thinks is just them going, we're not playing your game anymore. But in reality, they're actually going to fight the good fight. And so he goes to high school instead.
This show,
But yeah,
this show, it follows a
these 3
man.
episodes were 3 different shows.
This show follows a man who is so self-centered. This
I'm gonna
man-
mute him.
Thank you. This man is so self-centered, is so egotistical, is so up his own ass that he constantly makes up anything and everything to live his power fantasy, and he's right. And I don't know
And he's
who
actually living his power
I don't
fantasy
know
without
who
realizing
came
it.
up with this show's plot, but they are a
It's
god
fucking
amongst
funny.
men.
It's
And they,
so good.
Can
Did-
we also did anyone else notice, by the way, that his girlfriend is just a palette swap version of the other girl?
Did anyone
She-
notice that his girlfriend is actually just Corin from Fire Emblem?
no, it's
You know
Robin.
Corin?
it's Robin. It's female
Robin,
Robin.
Robin,
It's
Robin,
the
you're right,
it's the
yeah.
twin tail Robin. Yeah,
Sorry.
it's so
So
good.
is the bit just going to be that every episode is him
And-
in a completely different scenario, but there's a girl that's just the same girl the entire time, but slightly different colors?
Also,
Oh,
everything's a
Or for episode
fucking
1 and 2,
reference
there's
to
the same
something.
person?
Everything's a reference to something. There are so many things that I have to assume are intentional and that nothing is not planned. The fact that the town's called Midgar, that his name is Sid spelled
Right.
with a C, like the fact that the
forgot about
female girl
Midgar.
looks like Robin. There is so much shit in this show that I refuse to believe is by accident or pure
If this
chance.
was produced in NA or was a video game that was played on YouTube, Nintendo would copyright strike that motherfucker.
Yes.
No,
absolutely.
they wouldn't, because Infinite Dendrogram straight up has characters from Shadows of Valentia in it, and no one's ever sued them.
This
That
show,
is the funniest
this
thing.
show has the most batshit first 3 episodes in a row I think I've ever watched. and
I
kind of loved it.
I
and
have never
can't explain
lost
why.
my shit harder than when the female introduced in the first episode is talking to the teacher, and she goes, "What's that?" And it's just him playing piano from 3 classrooms down, and they use the piano bit over the fake credit scene when he fucking dies. This show
Yes.
is too powerful, and yet it is middle of the pack.
Yeah,
It
see,
absolutely-
the thing is, this show is not good. There is very little actual good
No,
writing
it's
here. It's
great.
actual
It's
dog
fucking
shit
great.
writing.
No,
But
it's
again, much like I said for
wonderful
Akiba, this show is anything but boring. But
See-
this show is funny.
writing. This show is the definition of
It's so fucking
bad it's
funny.
good. This is the definition of it's so bad it's good.
This show,
Yes.
Everything is
This is
everything
the most
runs so straight that it ends up all just working.
This show is the most aggressive 6 or 7 I've ever seen in my life.
The show is taking itself so fucking seriously too, but at
It-
the same time, you know
It
it's fucking
has
with you.
the
You know
comedy
it's
tag.
fucking with you.
It
Like,
has the comedy
The
tag.
fact,
That's
the
the
fact
thing.
that, like, again, the screenshot we picked for this episode is literally this girl.
this
who's the most
post
popular
kills
girl in
me.
school, who he accidentally asks out and becomes the girlfriend, who literally who literally flicks a gold coin at him to keep him around, and he goes, "You think I'd just be your boyfriend for money?" And reaches over and says, "Absolutely."
John?
And then
Well,
barks for
correct.
her
John?
like a dog.
This main character is the entirety of the Ashen Discord server reduced to one person. You cannot tell me that Dylan would not run the bit where the money gets thrown to him and he woofs. You cannot tell me that Jackman would not run the Balaclava Brawler as a D&D character where he goes, "Did you know how effective it is to use the backside of crowbars?" It's the entirety of that Discord server, and I love it.
I think my favorite bit from when I was watching this is that I have made the statement officially. This main character, if this gets dubbed, should be done by the person who voices Kirito in SAO Abridged.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
And if they can't,
It was originally Bryce Pass. Originally, it was Bryce Papenbrook, and then you moved on to that.
If they can't get the guy from SAO Abridged to Kirito, they need to get Bryce Papenbrook because this is the most Bryce Papenbrook character I've ever seen.
Yes.
Oh my god, this show is so batshit. Like, never before have I watched a show that I definitively said this is gonna be middle of the pack. But this is the show I most desperately want to watch another episode of. Like, I don't give a fuck about Chainsaw Man 4. I don't give a fuck about, like, My Master Has No Tail 4 or Blue Lock 4. I want to watch fucking Eminence and Shadow 4 to see what the fuck this show does next.
This is the show that if it sneaks in the top 3, hell, if it fucking wins the season by some miracle, I'm totally fine with it. You'll not hear me complain a single word because it will have earned it. It's back arrow, but everybody likes it.
The show reminds me of what the fuck was it last season? Stepmom.
Oh god, Stepmom.
Because it's a show that plays every trope of its genre so straight that it ends up just being goofy and funny.
I've said
early Stepmoms is a great show because it just plays all the tropes amazingly.
This is more like
and then starts falling into the tropes.
But again, just like all these things we're throwing out, unlike all of those, I think we're all gonna like it the whole way through, which is crazy because that wasn't like it. John, this is what
Stepmoms until it started trying to be an actual romance show.
This is what Back Arrow was for me. I want you to understand. It's a very similar experience to having something that is so out there, so shouldn't work.
I gotta go. This isn't the Back Arrow. This is my Back Arrow arc. This is not my Back Arrow arc, Sean.
He's gonna go jump into a pod and get yeeted into the walls.
We gotta keep it going, though. We gotta keep it moving. Because there's too much that can be said about that show.
The best part about the show is that we know exactly where it's going to, is where he's going to be the leader of this underground criminal organization by complete accident, that hunts down a cult by complete accident, that he made up that actually exists by complete accident.
I can't wait for the finale of this show to be him and all 13 variants of him coming together to fight together from different time periods as they pull a fucking Kingdom Hearts Xehanort bullshit with him.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Because the show would do it. He'd be like, I have put a bit of myself within 13 different variants of me. Now it is time for us, the Eminence and Shadow, to win, finally. And then Mickey Mouse Mickey Mouse pops up.
Diablos.
Did you say the door to dark?
We need to find the Kingdom of Livers.
Oh man.
Anyways, what's the next show on the list?
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself, Michael.
You said
it's all you, Michael. It's all you, Michael.
So this is a show. This show did exactly what I expected it to do. This is exactly as the tags say. Cute girls do cute things. School slice of life.
It's just.
This show. I explained it this way to Mason earlier when I was watching it. This show is just comfy. It's like a warm blanket.
Yep.
So it's not like it's the greatest show ever.
Oh, great.
The way
you just sit there and it's just nice.
The way that I explained this to my girlfriend, because I told her I think you would like this show. The way I've explained it is it's just Animal Crossing as an anime. That's all it is.
Yep. This is the style of cute girls do cute things that normally doesn't like. This is gonna be a show that is probably gonna get voted off maybe a little earlier than it should in the large community consideration. And just like Eurocamp, I'll have to admit that I was wrong about it and give it a second chance at some point in time later down the line. What this has going for that I absolutely love is its art style. Its art style rocks. I love it.
It's very
really
distinct.
Cool.
It's very simple, very clean, but it looks really good when they need it to.
I also like these characters. I also really like these. I like these characters. They're suitable for this show.
think
But
it has arguably my favorite bit of animation that we watched in these 37 episodes, which is the bit where Ray is healing down the hill, and for some reason it just goes absolutely batshit wild on the animation in the
There it
first
is.
episode.
No, this show like is at the top of my bottom, but I don't have any issues with it. I don't plan. This doesn't need to go. It's a comfy show for now. I might need that given how some of our other shows go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I needed. This
I'd rather this
for
over some
whatever
other
the fuck
stuff.
Akiba was.
But it also isn't
Yeah.
while there is another show that's very comfy for me, it also has a character who has severe social anxiety, and as someone who relates to that on a heavy level, I do just need some people who vibe every once in a while.
Yeah.
So this is fine.
Sometimes you don't need. Don't need. That's me for real though. In
Yeah.
2 of the shows. But yeah, one of the biggest bits of this show, the show is called "Do It Yourself," and we hear at the beginning of the first episode, our main character's last name
Is
is
Yua.
Serufu.
It's
Good.
Yua.
No, oh yeah,
You, Serufu.
yeah,
It's
her last.
Yua.
No, I think we hear Serufu. We don't
Yeah.
hear her last name until the end,
Yes.
which is when
No,
we get the Yua.
We hear her first name right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then midway through, we hear Purin call her Yua.
Mhm.
So
yeah.
we hear it in separate instances, and then as they're coming together, like as they're finishing up the episode, that's when they say Yua Serufu.
Yeah, the bit is that her name is yourself, but pronounced in Japanese, and it's the dumbest bit. And they do it every single fucking episode. And here's a new character introduced. They go, you know what DIY stands for? Do it, Serufu. And then he smiles. He's like,
We're not
you said
fu-
my name.
I do like the
No, and
like,
then the
phrases,
English
like,
speaker
they're
goes,
just going,
"It's yourself,
yeah,
fuck
yourself, you fucking idiot." Like what? Like all
Yes.
of them are just like they're so over the bit in the show, and she's like, "Guys,
That's me
but,
for
like,
real.
You Serufu."
For real though.
He's like, but guys, that's my name, and I think it's funny.
No,
But yeah, she is our main character is very accident prone, is very bad at DIY crafts. But boy, is she adorable, and is it fun to watch her learn how to do things. And the funniest thing about the show for me is that I was really engrossed in the explanation of what Grout was in episode 2 for like no reason. I was like, cool, now I know what Grout's for. This is actually a neat thing.
I'm gonna have to adjust the tag on this show for future weeks to just be Michael Core, because that is what this is a Michael Core show. This is made for Michael.
The show's just a good time. I enjoyed my time with it.
I like it.
just
I don't
fun.
have an issue.
The character's vibe.
I love Pine Jam's art. So as a studio, Pine Jam does art that I really like. That I think is really cool and really distinct, and I think more shows should be willing to like look like this. It's similar to how I feel about Science Saru. It's insane this isn't a Science Saru show. I guess it's a little too down to earth.
Okay, but Sean, if you're making a bench out of skis, could you then put skis on that bench and then use that as skis? Okay, but would that bench then fit on the lip?
Are you excited for this show to do the hot dog as a hamburger?
Hot dog is a sandwich.
Is a sandwich argument? Yeah.
God bless. I hope it doesn't.
But yeah,
Boy.
I don't know,
silly
like,
little slice of life show.
I feel like I should like this show more than I do, and maybe it's just because brain rot, and like I had to watch episode 2 twice because I fell asleep during it. But like, I don't know. It's just like it's not hitting the usual moe hit for me. Like it's not like my usual.
Give it
moe, like,
give it 2 weeks, you'll be on board. That's how it usually goes
know,
for you.
See,
But
I,
like, I don't really like any of the characters in particular outside of our main like club leader. Honestly, I like her 'cause she's just like, I'm just trying to like run a club here, kids. Like, just shut up and let me do my DIY.
she's vibing.
I think it's funny that the new character is like transfer lolly, whose name is Juliet Queen Elizabeth VIII.
Except she's not actually a lolly because she's
I do
actually
like
just
that.
12.
She's actually just 12. Like, she's not a lolly. She's just 12 and in high school.
No, she's
because
just a
crap.
child.
Who is in the wrong
this-
school because
I
she
made
misspelled
this, and
because
she
the
holds up
characters
herself.
are close.
Hey,
I also-
hey,
I enjoyed
who
the
who
bit
lost
where
a
they call
sassy
it the
child
crayon.
over here?
What is wrong with
Literally.
this child? But I like the bit in episode 2 where they're like, so what are we gonna do with the bench? And she's like, put it outside. She goes, so we could like drink tea and eat snacks and sit there and talk. I'm like,
Maybe
that's just
K-On?
K-On, but on a bench.
I was over there. On the
Literally just
bench.
described Can. I love
Yeah,
that.
there was I was like, that's K-On. They're making a joke here.
Hey,
But yeah, we need to move on.
Hey, John.
Yeah, what's up?
I can't believe that you're gonna be my ride or die for this show of the season. Let's
like the
fucking
show.
go.
it.
Reincarnated as a sword. Imagine.
Oh, this one. No, this one's fire.
Imagine if we speed through. Yeah, I'm excited that you're gonna be on board for a lot of my shows this
This
season, John.
fantasy's fucking fire, dude. I watched that
Oh.
today, and I was
I'm
like,
in on it.
man.
This, yeah, but he has it. He's all the way in on it.
I understand.
High
Uh,
recency bias, because again, last
yes.
time I watched, but man, I was fucking full send.
So let's talk about Reincarnated as a sword. We have two main protagonists. It'd be unfair to say we only have our sword. But we have our sword, Teacher. He's been reincarnated as a sword who has telekinesis powers and thus can kill things on his own. And so, while he waits for a wielder to find him, he level ups. Very much so. And then he gets accidentally stuck in some ground he can't get out of because it negates his magic, so he just maxes out a bunch of his skills to try to be as appealing as possible. Like cooking. He's a great sword. And then a slave caravan manages to get absolutely its shit kicked in by a monster, and the best character of the entire season, Fran, manages to pick up our sword. These two are wonderful, and the first 3 episodes follow Fran becoming an adventurer. It's adorable. I love her. She needs to be protected at all cost.
Yes.
The animation and action, the show's actually really clean.
Yeah.
I love the way she gets to move. You're telling me that my brain's trying to think of the term they use for it.
Cat?
For her class.
Black cat girl. Oh, sword mage.
Sword mate or sword.
Okay, so our translation said spell sword.
Yeah, yours said sword mage when you watched it, Mason. Yeah, I was
Ours
trying
said
to
spell word, and I thought it was funny.
spell word. No, but like the idea of a sword mage, a spell sword, however you wanna swing it.
Red
An
mage.
Eldritch
The Red
Knight.
Mage class.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy.
Eldritch
Eldritch
Well,
Knight,
that's
Red Mage.
I like to call it a hexblade warlock.
Yeah,
you know?
the mixture of this with Cat is wonderful. It gets you some really, really cool setups. I like the way that it's implementing the skills throughout the show. It has a lot of similarities to Black Summoner for me, and coming off of being a really big fan of that as an isekai. An element that I really like about it is that it's an isekai that you can kind of just forget as an isekai. It's there to introduce how your character gets into the situation, and then you don't have to worry about it because the world that they're in is what's important. The main conceit of this show being that he is going to protect her until he evolves is phenomenal. Show, if you do not let her evolve, or manga, light novel, if you do not let her evolve, we're gonna have words. I'm gonna beat you up in an alley. This cat better get the world.
Dude, Fran is best girl of the season. I'm sorry, I'm not
She's
taking
wonderful.
debates here.
There is a part in episode 2 or 3, I think it's the start of 3 actually, where she's walking
I
down
love
the
Bibliophile
street.
Princess, but this girl is the best girl.
But Fran is walking down the street and she passes one of the guards, and you just see her in the background just wave to him and move on, and it's adorable.
Okay,
I love her.
Okay, Annie List describes the class as Sword Lord.
That kind of loses out on the magic aspect of it, I guess.
Yeah.
But
But her names are also Magical Sword Girl. So like, I don't like.
I think we should just.
Translation's weird.
I think we should just refer to her as
I think Spell Sword could be good.
a sorcerer.
Spell Sword, Sorcerer, Sword Mage, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
that has sword and magic in it. I
Yeah.
will accept.
Yeah, we have like this underlying giant threat of goblins evolving and becoming very dangerous, which is neat. It's nice to have goblins be a threat at a show that isn't Goblin Slayer. That I can enjoy watching and isn't gonna make me feel odd things that I don't like. There's a reason I haven't watched that show. This show's adorable and also manages to get like dark to a point that like stuff is serious really well. It balances it great. It's not afraid to throw blood on the screen. Fran's not afraid to literally cut a man's legs off, and then just martial arts kick other dudes into oblivion.
Literally that scene is like, he angered me, so I took his kneecaps. Like with just like a fucking wave of flex, just took his fucking kneecaps straight off him his legs. It's just like the dude just sitting there like on the ground, just like, oh my god, I got knocked down. Oh no, my legs got removed from my body.
Yeah.
I'm really liking all the supporting characters in this show so far. I think they're all interesting and neat. They have some elements to them that I think are going to be, I am excited for going forward. Really, Michael and I are incredibly curious about the Guildmaster, as the translation for the one we had translated his block of skills, and one of them was Boy Mastery, and we gotta know what that is. I'll watch this show the whole way through to figure out what boy mastery is.
Well, I gotta know why this man is tier 3 boy
running
mastery.
running head theory is that he's actually a woman, and that boy mastery allows you to disguise yourself as a guy. That's my running theory.
It's his level of hormonal treatments.
It is. Look,
We
Let's not
stand
get real
kings.
please.
I want to play this video game.
Right? Monster Hunter, to some degree, to a slight degree, kind of Monster Hunter. No, I there's a lot of things I really like about the world. It has like a very like Made in Abyss, Somali. What's the rest of that title, Michael, for Somali?
The Book of Spirits.
Is it Blind Forest? That doesn't sound right.
Smalley and the Forest Spirit.
Forest Spirit.
And the Forest Spirit.
Yeah, it has a very similar like area aesthetic at times. Like the shot where they're traveling into the city and you have like the weird like dragon things that also aren't clearly dragons or wyverns flying above them is such like a Made in Abyss like or like Somali world building shot where I'm really excited for some of this like some of these areas. I think like the random NPCs we're getting that are just like people with dude with helmet where he talks through muffled voice cuz good sound design. There's a lot I like about this show personally. How do you guys feel?
I like that it's
Enjoy it.
discrimination that she can deal with now.
Yeah, I think the show is great. My issue with it is that I don't think it's as good as the other like really good shows. Like I think this
Yes.
show's a great time. I love these two main characters. Their dynamic is amazing.
Hi, this is my guilty pleasure seeping in.
This show just isn't as good as something like Chainsaw Man for me right now.
I agree. That's where I'm at with it. That's
Yeah, no.
why it's at, like so high in my
And
And
opinion.
I really like to do it yourself. That's why it's above it.
I'll raise you this. I like Fran's character motivations just a tiny bit more than I like Denji's.
We'll talk
What
about
do you
it.
mean?
Well, it's coming
But-
up. It's coming
but
up.
Man, do I love his
Well,
character
do-
motivations because I can relate as a fellow human being with a penis.
He just like me for real though.
He's
Yes.
just like me for real though.
He's just like me for real, though. Do we want to talk about it? We want to talk about
Alright,
the
yeah,
chainsaw in the room?
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So
Sorry,
Man.
sorry, hold on one second. Guys, I'm about to switch to a gift that's going to be very bloody. I know I just did it and had to roll it back. Just a heads up, if you don't like blood, you might want to sorry.
Do it.
You got to
Do
deal
this
with
like
it.
a podcast and just listen to us.
Yeah.
For a bit. We'll tell you when it's done.
Sounds like our
Yeah,
podcast.
looking like the scrub line. You'll see when we go to another picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mason.
So
Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is arguably the most beautifully animated show I've ever seen in my life. Every single minute of it is so goddamn pretty. That's just the first bit of it. Chainsaw Man, as a story, follows our boy Denji. who
He's our boy.
Who lives in a world where devils are out and about, and there is a full there's devil hunting agency that is through the public safety committee, and then there's private devil hunters who just do it as kind of like bounty hunters almost. He is one of them because he is paying off his father's debt to the Yakuza. He has at the beginning of the story sold an eye, a kidney, one of his nuts, and something else, I believe.
No, I kidney nut. That sounds right. It's just three.
I kidney nut. Okay, but he's not doing great. But he has a pet devil named Pochita, who is a wonderful round boy. We love him. He's so good. And by the end of the first episode, the Yakuza have turned on him, and they have been taken over by the zombie devil. And the zombie devil turns them into zombies and kill him. And then Pochita saves him by replacing his heart and turning him into the Chainsaw Devil. Notable thing about how Chainsaw Man works that they mention in a later on episode, the more feared this idea is, the more powerful the devil is. So, like, he fights the tomato devil early on, and it's not that powerful.
And to think
Like,
he's
it's
able
big.
to fight with missing an eye and holding a chainsaw.
I argue
Yeah.
it's still too big,
It
And that's
is.
really
I
funny.
agree.
and that's really funny.
No, see, I hate tomatoes. Tomatoes terrify me.
But things like chainsaws, kind of fucking scary. So he's kind of powerful. after just destroying every single last remnant of the Yakuza that sold him out and the zombie devil, he is found by Makima, who is one of the heads of the public devil hunting office. And she gives him the choice of either I kill you where you stand right now, or you can come with me and you can join the public devil hunting committee.
Become dog.
So, and you can be my dog. And he does that. He joins on the team of a man named Aki, who's just a normal ass dude, as well as a fiend who is a devil who has taken over a human's body, named Power, who is the blood devil. Wacky stuff ensues. Denji has never ever had any sort of comfort before, so this is like a dream come true for him. And his big motivating thing, starting in episode 2, is copping a feel, grabbing some boobies, because he's never known comfort before. He's never known another he's never been intimate with another person before. So that's his big thing. And episode 3 leads to
Sean, are you okay?
No,
Power.
the only thing that popped into my brain, Mason said he's never been intimate with anyone before was my brain going, except for his dog. And just, that entire bit was too much. I didn't want to do it.
Fair. Not intimate in that way. But
no, he's in someone else, the guy who took one of his nuts.
Yeah. But episode 3 leads to him and Power coming to an agreement of Power had her cat that is like her only friend ever, Meowie, stolen by the Bat Devil, and tells him, yeah, if you can get Meowie back for me, I'll let you grab my boobs. And then she sells him out to the Bat Devil. And he fights the Bat Devil and wins after the Bat Devil eats Power and her cat. We have yet to see what that leads to, but as someone who knows what happens between me, Sean, and Michael, things happen.
Which is why I want to propose we let Dodge talk.
Yes.
I really want to know what you thought about the first 3 episodes of Chainsaw Man. Great opinions. Sorry, John. I'm so sorry, John.
Yeah, John
what are your thoughts about Chainsaw Man?
Oh man, it's just nuts. So like, God, where do you start with the show? Dude, it's just like it looks so good. Everything's just like blood and gore. There's not much on it, but like I get it. Like it's the whole point of the show. Chainsaw scary.
Oh boy, if you think it's a lot now.
Whoa,
it's
Power's pretty great. Power's also pretty not great. I need to see more of it though before I put it number 1, just because I feel like it's still introducing stuff and characters. And like while the action's been outstanding, it's like I'm waiting for like it to really kick off, because it feels like, you know, again, like obviously his goals are very paper thin, like we've covered, where it's like
really
yes,
back.
boy want to touch boob, crazy. But I also have faith in like the show's direction and like its design, because the guy that's in charge of directing the show, he's worked on a couple of small projects like Jujutsu Kaisen 0, where he did key animations, or the Black Flash episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, where he is the episode director and the storyboard director, or maybe, you know, some small shows like Shield Hero, where he did key animation on, you know, just, you know, small scale projects, you know, so or Kill la Kill, where he did key animation on it. Well, again, like I'm not worried about the direction of the show. I'm just like, I just want to let it run its course and just like be along for the ride right now. I want to know more about our black-haired guy and what he can do is the biggest thing too. I didn't see much of him do anything yet.
Yeah, we have not gotten to see.
Yeah, we have not.
See
We
Aki
watched
do
him get his
anything yet.
ass kicked in by Denji, who does not fight fair.
Not his ass.
Kicks
His
him in the
nuts.
balls. Nuts or nothing.
Nuts or
All
nothing.
the
He got his
nuts.
nuts kicked into
His
his
nuts.
asshole.
Yes,
Or
correct.
nothing.
Accurate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things
Just sick.
I really like about Chainsaw Man, and its adaptation does basically all of it the exact way I like it. This feels like a movie, animation wise to me. Like
It is
I
directed
wouldn't-
like a movie.
I wouldn't personally go that it's like my favorite or the best animation in something I've watched, but it's up there and it's very unique. Like in the same way that I am hard pressed to say my opinion is like that's even Sunny Boy would be there, but that shit is wild and I will give it all the props it deserves.
You think the thing that I want to contend with that is it's not the best, like, it doesn't have the best animation ever.
Yeah.
But is consistently
Mhm.
one of the best.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like, oh, we have these, like, this one specific scene that's fucking incredible, and then the rest is like, okay. It's
Yeah.
like, no, everything looks
For,
good.
I think for me personally, Violet still holds that card just because it was such an experience and a change for me. And there are a couple other things that are equally like kind of there. But I'm not trying to diminish this show at all. It's incredible what they do. It's incredible adaptation wise from panel work to screen. But even then, there's just a lot of themes I really liked that shine through in the first 3 episodes. While Denji's motives are definitely paper thin, I think something that episode 3 does really well, and I hope that some people who are a little iffy might pick up on it and might stick with it, is that while Denji's core motivation is indeed touch booba,
he's also just a good guy.
He does resonate with power in moments, and there are also moments where you're like, oh, Denji is kind of a good guy. Like, he doesn't want the world
normal
to,
guy
he's
thrust into an
just a
insane
dude.
world of
Like, I put this, I was like paper
Oh, no,
thin,
John,
but when you know why he has those motivations, like, it makes perfect sense for his character.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why
He-
it's good.
Also, his
It's-
story's fucking depressing. Episode 1 sucks
Yeah.
so much ass for
Everybody's
him.
story's depressing.
Well, yes, welcome to capitalism.
Yeah.
All Power wanted was her fucking cat, and then it gets fucking nommed, and she just goes, "Well, I guess I'll die."
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
like the thing about Chainsaw Man is it's entirely based around these are some terrible fucking things that are happening to actually decent people, and you watch it you read it and watch it entirely for those moments of, oh, this is nice, oh, thank God, okay, we have some reprieve.
So here's the one thing I will say that it is my hot take, is that I think the action in episode 3 looks significantly better than the action in episode 1. I don't know.
Yes.
I think it flows better. I think it might even be the set piece. I think like the dark warehouse, and it also might be intentional. It's Denji's first fight.
Yeah, action one's
Like,
a little more raw.
as a Chainsaw Man. Like, I think it flows, it looks so clean in episode 3 that it if everything keeps going like the episode 3 went, I'm gonna be in heaven for this show.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my
My-
right now holding it back is like that little bit. It took a little to get used to it, but I really like it. Mappa does CG really well when it comes to stuff like this in Dorohedoro.
My thing with this as a show is that I already really liked the manga.
Yeah.
Like, I think the beginning of the manga was solid, and it gets really good near the end. But, like, it's an enjoyable ride the whole way through. And I think this adaptation is amazing.
Yes.
Like, I think they're doing an amazing job adapting it, even though they skipped some stuff into manga. Whoop do you fucking do? It's something that adds almost nothing to the story and is not missed. I didn't realize anything was skipped until people talked about it on the interweb.
Like, it is very very close to a 1-to-1 for
The
for
first episode is basically a 1-for-1 adaptation of the first
Mhm.
chapter of the
Yeah.
manga.
Yep.
OP
And then
slaps.
instead of the weird cut to something in chapter 2, they just cut to an actually good starting point for episode 2.
OP slaps. New ED every episode. This is fucking insane. These men are mad.
Yes.
Okay, guys. Before we move on, favorite ED of the 3.
Now I need.
I don't
haven't
don't
actually
remember
listened to
them enough. I think 2 though.
Zutomayo, I'm so biased towards.
By the way, Dorohedoro does this too, except instead of a new ED every episode, it's like every 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, we'll get fucked Dorohedoro. This is every episode, bitch.
Dorohedoro walked so that Chainsaw Man could run.
Yeah.
The manga
It really
community,
did.
the manga community's fuming at me. Either way, no, I mean this show has time to let it grow on us. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
I feel like this show's just Studio Mapper just flexing their animation muscles on the entire anime industry.
I have some fun anecdotes to share at the end once we're off air about some conversations I've had that I think are great that you guys would enjoy that I don't want to do on air. One thing I will say is my buddy Alex was potentially going to join us. Chainsaw Man is not just his favorite anime. He has told me it is his favorite piece of media ever. And I think there are legitimate reasons why that is, and that you can have someone who feels that way.
And I feel like we didn't need another action slot in the podcast to get his ass.
He's not. That's the crazy thing.
That's the crazy thing, yeah.
Yeah.
See, the thing with Chainsaw Man that I adore, and I can see why he feels that way, and I'm not quite to that level, but I'm kind of up there with it, is Chainsaw Man does, at least in terms of the manga, it takes these super batshit insane things and makes them feel super serious and grounded.
Mhm.
And also doesn't, like, yeah, it's the focus a lot of the time, but the actual focus of the manga is how these people deal with everything going on.
I really like Denji overall. I think the idea of having a protagonist like Denji is something that, done in this way, was needed. Because I think you have a lot of characters that are kind of like Denji, but they don't hit the same, they don't run into the same levels of suffering and being cut up into a dumpster and dead that he does in episode 1.
Yeah,
but
like a big thing with Denji is that him as a personality is the most stereotypical, like, horny high schooler guy. That is his personality.
he's technically
Other
middle
shonen
school.
anime have tried to have things similar that are like a normal guy, like Midoriya, who's the normal one, but then very quickly goes, just kidding, he's actually a super smart mega genius. Lamau.
Yo, can we... what was the point I was gonna make?
He just wants to eat his toast with butter and jam.
I don't remember. Either way. Pushita best boy. We love him. I was not ready for him to talk and for that voice to come out of him, even though I've read the source material. Hey, John, how'd you do it? How'd you pick this show and why is it so good? Let's talk about Bocchi the Rock.
Here's how I picked this show.
See, I was also gonna pick this show.
Here's how I picked this show. I talked to my buddy. I'm like, Austin, you read a lot of weird light novels. Tell me, what looks pretty good this season? And on his list of shows, I'll pull it up. I'll pull up the list. Hang on, let me pull up the list of what he said. Okay. He gave me a couple. He gave me a list. On his list, shows that interest him included Chainsaw Man, obviously, Blue Lock, Reincarnated as a Sword, Do It Yuta Serafu. And then he put Bocchi the Rock on there at 5. And then later messaged me, switch Bocchi the Rock and Reincarnated as a Sword. He put that as like number 3 show to pick this season. Goddamn, he's fucking right. This show is great.
Yeah.
It is so fucking funny. All the show is just like cute girls trying to make a band, but like one of their band members ran away, so they need a guitarist for the show tonight. And so she's just out there in the swing, but she's just trying to become like, a popular girl and be social. But there's this cool thing called crippling social anxiety that stops her from doing that. But she's also a YouTuber with like 100K followers, so she's like a pretty successful YouTuber overall, and she can play guitar very well. It's just she's like giga stage fright to the point where she finally convinces to do the show with them and then performs in a box, and it's terrible. Is what they say. But it's fun. So now she starts working at this nightclub, basically so they can perform at the nightclub again. But they need like a singer and another guitarist. So they go meet this girl at school who she's like, oh, they mentioned singing karaoke. I can ask her. And she's like, yeah, sure. You know what? If you teach me how to play guitar, I'll come, for this band for you, right? And then they walk to the club and she goes, wait, I've been here before. We can't go here. And the other two show up and go, hey, it's the runaway guitarist. And so now the band's together, these 4. Like social misfits, and it's just like comedy ensues as the TLDR. This show has some of the best like punchline animations I've seen, where characters just like melt into like blobs of like sadness, and it's perfect every time. And the best shot of the entire like 3 episodes came at the very end of episode 3, as you see on the screen, where the one character goes, "Yeah, I've been trying to play guitar. And I'm practicing a lot, but my guitar always goes like the doom 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 noise instead of like the guitar sound." And like, that's crazy. It's almost like you bought a bass. And then they look at it, and she's like, no, that's ridiculous. It has 6 strings. And they look at it, and then she looks at them and look back at the guitar, and she's back at them, and she goes, it's a bass. And it's fucking, I died so hard at that. But, and then it follows up with a bit where it's like, man, it's very convenient that Rio bought that 6-string bass off of you. She's like, yeah. She said she'd have to eat weeds from now on. And then she comes into the club chewing on some fucking weed.
So I want to make a direct comparison of Akiba Maid War to this, and how much wonderful the characters, even if they have lots of tropish like things into them, how much better these four are than anything in Akiba Maid War. Oh, they're
fucking
so
adorable.
refreshing. I love
It's
all
so
of them.
Funny. This is like K-On, but they actually play music. As the main goal.
They play a lot of music in K-On! It's like a song each episode.
This
They
is
eat a lot more sweets than they play music.
this has like a through line plot, which is kind of what
Yeah.
I've talked with Mason and Michael about. Is my understanding of K-On! Is there isn't really like a through line plot
the part
necessarily.
is they eat snacks and play music.
Yeah.
This one is they try to play music together.
I'm impressed this show doesn't have a drama tag to it.
Yeah.
I think it deserves it. I think it should probably get one in the long run, unless they really like don't go too much deeper than
I
like
think
where
they're
we
playing
are
too much of
now.
the Moe stuff, but
Yeah, but I mean, so this is like the Moe version of Given, is how I, as if it hasn't stabbed me as much, is how I feel about it.
it's
For
stabbed me in the
me,
funny bone.
Yeah.
The first episode, I have like, I don't know what it was because this is not how my life has gone, but it just very like it hit me in such a perfect way where I was just like, that really me go.
I get crippling anxiety when it comes to social situations.
I
Yeah.
too like to dress up as Godzilla and turn around and reveal it's secretly me in the OP.
Yeah.
Her inner monologue in episode, I think it's in episode 3, when she has the two classmates in front of her talking, and they mention music, and she like goes to start talking to them, but then she has the thing. She goes, "Okay, but like if I said something, they'd be like, oh, but you were listening to our conversation. You're a creep for listening in like that." And that is so
Yeah.
exactly me when I hear the people talk about something I'm interested in, and I go, "Okay, but I'm sitting like across the room from them. It's weird for me to join in."
I've watched
that
him.
means- that
I've
makes it-
watched this
yeah.
happen to him.
See, here's the difference. Here's the difference between me and Michael. My brain doesn't have a filter. It just goes, blah, words, and then goes, fuck, why did I join
Oh,
this conversation?
his does that sometimes too. It just depends on the day.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I get
Like,
that.
I'm literally just
Yeah.
sitting there like vibing, watching YouTube or playing like Pokemon Unite on my Switch while sitting in the commuter lounge, and people next to me are like talking about the Smash tournament that just happened. And I go, my brain, I'm like, damn, I want to talk to them, but also,
Yep.
eh,
Also, by the way, this is the second best opening of the entire season. Like, god damn, this opening's incredible.
Visually, it's
Kickback's just too good.
I saw
Yeah.
this opening, I heard this opening, and I was like, oh, this show's gonna be so good. This isn't fair. You can't. It just started. And
How'd
even
you
the
do
way
it?
the show
How'd you
starts
do
is
it?
so good. Like, the show
Yes.
starts in an incredible way where you're like, oh, I'm really down for this. The animation really catches your eye in the way they do it. It's like, this is like, again, it's one of those stylistic things where it's like, it's not the quality of animation, obviously, as like Blue Lock or Chainsaw Man or Gundam, but if
How it uses
yes,
it.
For the genre that it
mhm.
is, it's the right animation style.
It puts me in that same kind of feeling as like Aizukin, as like Sunny Boy,
Yeah.
where it's like this fits so well. Like
With what it's doing.
it's the right choice. I feel the same way about like Reincarnated as a Sword as well. Like I think for what Reincarnated as a Sword does, it's nailing its genre perfectly, and that's how I feel about Bocchi the Rock. For what it's doing music wise, it's nailing it so well. It was killing me when they are behind the bar in episode 2 and the band is up playing and you just hear the guy in the background just fucking talking his gums off about bullshit that doesn't matter, introducing the band, and I'm like, this is too real. You have to stop this man. He's gonna keep going forever. No, I love this. This is wonderful. I can't wait to see more of this. Mason, you want to reveal the fun
So
fact
funny.
you told me about this show and the main the characters?
So, funny thing.
Slow loop.
So all of these characters are named after the band Asian Kung Fu Generation. Notably, the people who did one of the openings to Naruto, they did an opening for Full Metal Alchemist Original.
That's so
they
cute.
The opening for Erased, I believe.
Yep, they did the opening for
Yeah, I think
Erased. They
Riri
did
was them.
they did an opening for Bleach. They've done a lot of stuff.
They've made a lot of songs.
But yeah,
That's a
all of it.
callback.
Yep, it is really cool. Like they're all named after the members of Asian Kung Fu Generation. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to laugh so hard at this show, but there's at least I think at least 5 or more moments every episode where I hard laugh at something this show did.
Picking a screenshot for this show is rough.
Yeah.
That's why I made John do it.
I picked the best one, dude. Mason mentioned this moment. I was like, "That's the one. You're right." With the 6-string bass, I was just like flicking through the episodes. Like, I already know the one for this one, because I just watched it in the thing. But there's so many good ones.
I will say I absolutely adore Rio. She's wonderful.
Ryu is the best.
She's so good.
Rio's
what a great,
wonderful.
what a
I think this
great
show-
character.
Like, the last point I'll make on the show before I'm ready to move on is just like, this show might have like tropey characters, but like it's one of those things where it's like they take multiple tropes into one character and they mesh really well for that character and what they're trying to do with the character and like their dynamic, right?
I will
good.
I will say I don't know how I feel about Kita yet.
The bottom one, or
We-
the
red
fair
one. Red one.
Red-
I
red
You
one.
love
gotta have one person that's obsessed with
love
something else,
disaster
like,
lesbian. Hope it goes well.
wishing you the best in your Yuri fantasies, honey.
She might be the character who will have to do the most work to make me really like her throughout the rest of the show, but I have faith because this show slaps.
Show's incredible.
Yeah, the show's just really good. Again, like the big thing with like the comparison to Akiba is like, yes, these are characters that have traits, but we've actually spent time to explore they are more than just that.
Yeah.
Yes, a pink-haired girl has social anxiety, but that is not the only thing she does. She is more than just a character with social anxiety who is kind of good at guitar.
Also, thank
Rio
you.
is more than just person who wants to be alone.
Also, thank you for giving us an in-show reason why we have a small guitar who explains things.
It's great.
It's just her imaginary friend. It's wonderful. What a great
I love
idea.
how she like was in the trash can and she like pulls the guitar out to play a sad song.
Did
And
that
it's like,
bit kill every time she pulls the guitar out to do a song because she's sad kills me.
Yes.
Where did she keep that?
This is a song. This is a song I read.
Guitar
It's
pro.
literally the Bo Burnham bit where it's like, this is a song about how sad I am because I'm so sad. I'm so fucking sad. Please realize how sad I am.
It's like, and then like at one point she's gonna have a song. She's like, "Listen, I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm not trying to like say anything important. Like it's just all a joke." Anyway, this is a song about from God's perspective.
Yeah.
I adore her. She's wonderful. She does
I
does get a
heard her
Kebi
go,
syndrome, where her
"I'm
little
just
sisters
a
just small her.
kid, and my life is a nightmare." Just good. Just funny. I hope it keeps it up. I don't know how I just like pulled this one out of my ass season. I was like, yeah, you know what, Austin? That one did look cute. I'll pick that one. I liked K-On!
Speaking of cute, I do hope to give it to the next one. Master Has No Tail has some real adorable moments in it.
It's pretty cute. She is a Tanuki. She's
Yeah.
Her character design is super fucking strong.
I love it. I love it. It's the reason I wanted you to pick it.
Yeah, it's the reason I wanted to pick it. I also wanted to pick it because I think Rakugo as an art form is really fucking cool when it's done well.
Let's talk about the
Boy,
show.
does this
Michael.
show make Rakugo seem like the most boring shit ever.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Thank you.
Rakugo is so funny when done well. It's so good. As someone who is reading a fucking manga about it right now, it is my current favorite or second favorite manga I'm reading. Up there with Blue Box. Blue Box is really good. But Akane Banashi is an absolutely amazing manga. Master Has No Tail is not a good anime. I just
like-
don't care about any of the times they're doing
Yeah.
Rock and Go. It's just not interesting.
Which is the main
It's
point.
not.
Like, I think she's watching her do shenanigans is fun. It's funny. It's a good little bit. I didn't. Sean has also mentioned this to me. Did not expect her to be this much of a little shit.
Yeah.
Usually
I
that's
should
kind
have.
of
I
what
should
Tanukis
have.
are.
She's a
Like,
Tanuki.
that's what
Tanuki.
Tanukis are. But you're like, look at her, it's so cute. And she's just a little fucking shit who constantly does dumb
This
things.
is like if when we watched oh my god, how am I not gonna be able to think of its name? It was my show. The show about sweets
Baki-kun?
that we watched.
Daemon?
Daemon. This is like if we watched Daemon and she was a fucking shit kid, like the biggest shit kid. Like she just ruined everyone's life.
She was a bit of a shit kid. But like it was all well-deserved shit kid energy.
This is like when we
Yes.
watched Taiso. If the daughter was the biggest shit kid, would you?
She wasn't just the best character in the entire show.
If her and Big Bird just ran around pranking people on the street.
Good.
It's I don't.
Can I talk about why I like this show? 'Cause I'm the
Yes.
one person who kind of liked it.
Yes.
The reason I found enjoyment of it is more so because I didn't really understand Rakugo when I came into it, and like I don't think the bits are outstanding. And like I feel like I explain this. It's like that have you guys seen Epic Rap Battles of History before?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you seen the one about the comedians? It's just
No.
like the line where he's like, it's like George Carlin's comedy, where like you listen to George Carlin and you go, that's funny, you know, but you're not like belly laughing like you are with like a Bo Burnham style comedy. That's how I view this show. It's just like I watched the Rakugo, and as I'm like listening to the show, I'm like, that's kind of funny. I get it. But like it takes me to like the end card at the end of the screen where they like kind of like re-explain it in like a more like English friendly way, I guess, to me. But like I really like the second story because I think it was based off 100 poems, and like I'm still on my Chihiro Furu like mental gig, so I was like, I know this one. I know that I actually remembered like I remembered how the end of the poem went. Weirdly enough, like I was like, I know this one. I know this poem. I think it's doing okay with Rakugo. I just don't think it's translating well to like anime as much as it would like either a live performance, like in reality, or like be like in manga form where you can actually like read it and like kind of sit down and actually kind of understand it a bit more, like Michael's saying. But I don't know. I just think it's an interesting like art form that I didn't really know about before this. I think it's really fascinating. Is that intrigue gonna wear off pretty quickly if it's not good? Yeah. But I think like the episode where they explained all of it, like and like took you backstage and explained kind of how it works and stuff. I just like my brain was like, this is cool to learn about. It wasn't like as entertaining as much. It was just like, I like this. This is cool.
I do
I
think
think once that wears off, I also will like just like the show would just drop so fast.
I think there's an element that there's a little bit of a there's obviously a disconnect not having as much background as I would like in like Japanese like stories and
Culture.
puns and stuff like that, where some elements are obviously going to be lost. But I do think the show does a good job explaining Rakugo, explaining Tanukis, like explaining a lot of the stuff you kind of need in the
The
first 3 episodes
mythology.
to get through it. Yeah. I just we already know comedy's hit or miss with me. Now put it into a form of comedy that's already hit or miss depending on
Very,
it.
very hit or
And
miss.
like I don't know enough about Rakugo. I haven't engaged with enough media about Rakugo to know how good or bad this Rakugo is. She's cute.
Show's mid.
I'm
My
not hooked and I don't really care. And the fact that I had to turn the episode off the first time watching because I was like, ooh, the Rakugo is not hitting me, I need a break, was not a
Yeah.
good sign for this show.
I think my thing for it is the fact that I don't know. I just feel like I shouldn't need to watch the after credits thing to understand the entire rest of the episode. Like,
Not just Rock and Go in a nutshell. That the idea is that, especially because we don't speak Japanese, they need to give us a fucking explanation of the puns. I do appreciate the post
And the
credit
thing is,
things.
like you have to read so fast to keep up because they're just going. You know.
Yeah.
I do think Rock and Go is as an art form is very hit or miss. But I don't know if I appreciate they have the post credit thing to explain the stories because they just don't make sense sometimes. But I don't think they do a great job implementing the explanation. I just appreciate that it's there.
So here's a real crazy thing. I actually don't like that as it went on, they gave you visuals more for the Rakugo.
Yeah, I just like
Yeah.
Because I am someone who, when I engage with something, whether it's hearing someone read something or reading it myself, I both will hear it and I will see it in my mind. So I can separate the two characters myself if it's done well enough. And so having the visual like lessens it a little bit to me, where I'm like, I actually don't need this, and it kind of hurts the experience.
And,
But
like, I don't know
that's
if
a me
they
thing.
Use it more than like actual like professional Rakugo, but like it feels like she never uses like the fan and like the clicker. Like she uses it at the start where she's like click, and then it's like nothing except for voice for like the next 5 minutes. You know?
Yeah.
And, like,
Also, with that,
obviously they add
that's
background
not
noise
in
and
all
stuff
types
later.
of Rakugo.
Okay.
I was very confused when those showed up because, like, again, in the manga I've been
I
reading,
guess it's just
that's
to draw
not
the
a thing
audience's
they have.
attention.
When I think of Rakugo, I think of them just sitting on a mat. Like they have like the fan, but I don't remember. They don't normally have like the table in front of them to smack and stuff. I don't think.
I mean, they explain that that's like a very particular kind. Because my first instance of Rakugo was through God, I'm gonna get the name of the city wrong.
Taxi.
No, Kabu. Michael, help me. Sherlock.
Oh, Kabuki Show.
Yeah, Kabukicho Sherlock. Where the main detective, who is Sherlock, also has like an obsession with Rakugo and is very bad at it. And for what it's worth, his bad Rakugo is funny because it's bad and you understand it's bad. And like that was like my real first instance of it, and I haven't had a lot of it. I even forgot it was even in Odd Taxi. But yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. I forgot about that.
Hey, a big thing with Rakugo that I think is, which I noticed immediately in episode 1 when Bunko, I think her name is, starts doing it, is that a big thing with Rakugo is that you're supposed to be one person telling a story from multiple perspectives, like being multiple characters. So generally, you need to play up facial expressions and play up voice differences. I could not tell when she tried to change her voice because her voice for 3 characters sounded exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
This is...
And also, like, the idea is, like, you turn and go,
this
and
is
you turn the other way, do another face.
This is me voicing D&D characters for real, though.
Like, because of the idea that you aren't moving and you're standing still, you need to play up the things you can do, and they forgot to do that.
I feel like a lot of it was
VA,
like, they tried to do it with like the verbiage more than they did like the actual voice itself, right? Like if you like the text being read, like they're doing different like dialects for us like in translation, but I don't think it's done as well through the voice acting, like you said, which is why I feel like if it was just text, it almost would feel better.
I almost feel like Tanuki would do a better job on delivering the Rakugo, as crazy as it is, because the character's gonna have a wider range. Do you want that?
Here's the problem: she has no range, even when she's other characters. She has the exact same voice.
That's true.
True. But yeah, again, the big thing with with Rakugo and having to do it this way, Rakugo is a art form that takes a long time to practice and master.
Yeah.
Being a voice actor for anime is not preparing you to be a Rakugoka. That is the VA tries their hardest, but they're not going to be able to imitate this kind of stuff well. It's kind of just the nature of this art form.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I don't think any of
that.
us are like, bad voice actress. Because no, I think if it's the character, I just think it's hard to do this form of media and really make it work. And also it's not like voice actors don't get direction.
They also don't get to pick their like facial expressions though in animation.
Yeah, it's an odd show. It's certainly in that batch of shows that I'm like,
I'm very much good to just not.
Yeah, I would be fine not watching it.
It's cute. The show's pretty cute, like most of the time. But
time to talk about my third show. And this will probably be the one we have the most conversation about, I imagine. Bibliophile Princess. This follows a daughter of a noble family, a decently well-renowned noble family, but one that's not really engaged in any like actual like hard policy or like military action. Instead, they're very much like historians. They're all bookworms. They like to gather information, study up on it, collect it. And so she is approached by Christopher. This is the only show where I'm gonna know their fucking names. It's incredible. But she's approached by Christopher, who is the prince of the royal family, who rules this like big, large area of the world we're in. And he pitches to her the idea of her playing his fiance so that he doesn't have to worry about getting, set up with someone he doesn't want to be with, and he can get his family off his back about a potential marriage. And she can get access to the archives and spend her time with him, where he will just let her read as much as she wants. It's like the perfect deal. And so they agree to it. And the first episode, and leading into the second, is very much her, our main character, struggling with the idea of, or recognizing the fact that with how the situation's been presented to her, she is a phony fiance. And that at some point this deal will end and they'll have to part ways. And also really it takes a look at, do we really love each other? Is there any actual love? Is this just an agreement? Like, is there any attraction at all? And all throughout the first episode, it's very clear that there are things going on in the kingdom. And even in the palace. So, in fact, there's so many things that it feels like you are being told a lot in the first episode. And I'll give it credit. It's very obvious that's the case, to the point that you're going to get something, hopefully in the next episode, that will tell you what's been going on to make these people act weird from the first half to the second half of the episode. Because the first half, you get to kind of know the people who work in the court and the people who work with and under Christopher and how they interact with her. And it becomes very apparent that there's a shift. And one of the main shifts is another girl who shows up. And episode 2 takes the focus in on some jealousy, the fact that, attention starts to shift over to this other girl. And I actually do need their names. I don't remember the girls' names as well.
It's Irene and Eliana.
Yeah, Eliana. Eliana's her princess, or bibliophile. And Irene's this more outgoing girl who winds up kind of catching everyone's attention. And it is revealed, and there is a part of episode 2 where it becomes very clear that that Ellie thinks that that Irene and Christopher are basically like that he's gonna drop the her as his fiance and hook up with Irene. And there's kind of talk around the palace about it too. And then we get the turnaround reveal. One, Christopher walks himself into the world's biggest fucking brick wall known to man, where he's privately meeting with Irene with only a couple of guards, and Ellie walks in, much to him not expecting her to be there, and he utters the worst phrase you could ever utter in the presence of your significant other of, "I didn't expect you to be here today." Just a phrase you should never say to anyone ever, because it immediately makes you look like you've been doing something wrong. And thus, we learn in the next, at the end of episode 2, predominantly 3, that Irene and her father have been trying to cause chaos in the court. And Irene's been trying to wiggle her way up to be Christopher's fiance by setting up Ellie to look like a horrible human being. However, because Eliana is a bookworm, and refuses to leave her library, she is constantly never in the location she needs to be for Irene's act to work. And in the actual, final nail in the coffin is when she claims that Ellie has pushed her down a flight of stairs after she jumps off the railing herself to make it look like she fell down a flight of stairs, to which then she finally turns around and looks at Ellie and realizes, oh shit, her hands are full of material she was transporting to the library. Uh-oh, I'm fucked.
Which is all an elaborate setup by the prince and his court to get these two to confess.
And what I will say, this is the point where I have a small issue with the show, but otherwise I really like it, which is I wish some of the credit they give to Ellie about things she does we saw in the first episode. You don't have to outwardly spell them, but, it'd be neat if, while Christopher is talking with, oh god, I am gonna blank on his...
Alec?
Alec. Is it Alexi. When Christopher's talking to Alexi about the fishing problem at the one port town, if she put the book down and looked at them like she was about to engage in conversation, even if we didn't see it, or if when he shows her the vase, there's a moment where she's like, wait a minute, and then we cut. That way stuff happens. The way episode 1 presents a lot of things, it makes you feel like Eliana has no involvement whatsoever, which, to be fair, they are keeping her at an arm's length for a reason. And the big reveal is that Christopher does want to marry her, and he is head over heels for her because she berated him when he was a kid for being mean to books, and I love it.
Again, I do defend the show in this aspect. The first episode is told
predominantly through Ellie's point of view.
From her, and from her perspective, she isn't doing anything. She's just this phony, pseudo princess. So she might not think that what she said even matters, right?
Yeah. I just think as a viewer,
I guess that might be what it's going for, but I guess the viewer feels really out of nowhere. That's she solved all these problems, and we're like, she did.
Yeah, I agree for that, and there's some that I think work really well. I do think the vase is honestly the least of my worry, because I'm like, yeah, I can see that. You did at least show me her interacting with the vase. But it's she didn't have any conversation about the fishing village. The her reintroducing the hairstyle or the beauty stuff is an offhanded comment about the book that is less important in that scene than the fact that she was trying to poison her
for an oncoming shortage or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of things where you're like, I just wish I would have seen it, and in all honesty, all it really does is make the first episode a little worse and make the rest of episode 2 and 3 really good, because I really like 2 and 3 and the payoff you get, in my opinion.
So I have the thing, and Michael and I talked about this earlier. So I think both of us really enjoy episodes 2 and 3, and a little bit of 1, because 1 leads into it.
Yeah.
Where the hell do they go from here?
I like the idea. I like the idea. I'm totally fine with
be the queen.
Well, I think it's a my thought is they're gonna go not rom-com but romantic drama of now we get to see her help people solve issues, and now we get to see like some of the other problems that you're going to get like in the kingdom, kind of like a realist hero, but like with a relationship dynamic. I'm interested to see. I also don't know, which is why next week's going to be really important for this show to kind of get a good grasp of what's going on. I especially think it's I think the one that's most damning, in my opinion, of thing they did not show us but told us was when he taught where she's like, I don't like do anything at social parties, and he's like, no, but you are sat with the foreigner, like the guests from foreign countries, to talk with them because you can like you know what to talk to them about. That would have been neat to see, like even just her sitting down with someone from a different country. But no, I like their romance. I think it's I always appreciate it when it's the guy when it's not the main character who's head over heels necessarily. Like Christopher's way more in love with her. She's getting there. It's growing. There's definitely
He realizes she's in love, which is important.
The idea is that
Yeah.
at first she isn't, but he is, and then over the 4-year time skip,
yeah. She winds up
there's-
falling a little more for him and wanting to actually be a real fiance than a fake fiance. And I think the drama element of this show is played up really well. I hope it keeps doing a good job because it's a Madhouse show, and I know they can do that. Because like there are moments where like you're like, ooh, the Madhouse money kicked in, like the end of episode 1, where you're like, oh, I'm very ready. I want this. I generally like this cast. I haven't decided yet whether this is a point in favor or against this show. I cannot look at this cast.
They're just a Fire Emblem cast.
Yeah, I cannot look at this cast of character without going, that's a Fire Emblem character, and then immediately associating them with them. It super pays off.
It's also so similar to some Fire
I
Emblem
know.
characters that it's funny.
The main trio of Glenn, Alexi, and Christopher really is the trio of guys from Blue Lions and Three Houses. It's super better even when like Christopher has like the persona of just like this nice prince who's just like, he's just the guy, everyone loves him. And then he does like the elaborate ruse trapped gotcha, like I will tear you apart if you mess with my girl kind of thing, which, while not nearly in the same direction Dimitri fucking loses it in Three Houses, it is a blonde lord who happens to have a like kind of a separate self. I adore the fact that he fucking bullies books and gets his ass owned for it by her. I think that's one of the funniest bits in the show. Say you're sorry to
Apologize
the
to the book.
Don't you know who I am? No,
Apologize to the Funyaripa.
But
Strong
this show's
Funyaripa
biggest-
energy.
The show's biggest issue for me, though.
As the
No,
resident rom-com
fuck
expert,
you.
No, Michael's going.
here's why.
He started talking, let him finish before he loses his thought.
But yeah, my biggest thing with this show, I said this to Mason earlier, vaguely, is the idea that this show has a 4-year time skip, and then constantly references said time skip as if we saw it, and it feels really, really awkward.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. You mentioned it a lot. It would have been neat to see any of these events. It's so weird because it feels like this show was supposed to have us see it, and then it didn't.
As long as it doesn't Peach Boy go back and show us those events in one full episode, I think it's fine.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do for the next 9. Is actually go back and
What?
give us the 4-year
What?
time skip.
What I actually really liked about Bibliophile is just the fact that, like, okay, 3 episodes, we're at a point where both characters realize they like each other, and we're just done with it, right? I like that, like, there was this, like, subplot that he talks about where it's like, listen, I had rules I had to follow where, like, I couldn't tell you about what your family's name is allured to because you're really smart bookworms, basically. I liked that, like, he's basically been just, like, having to play this game to try to get her to fall in love with him, but also get all the barons to agree that she is a viable queen before he's allowed to actually officially, like, announce her as, like, his wife, basically. I think that's cute. And I'm glad we're just like, okay, we're done. We're wrapped up with the early romance shit. We don't got to go through all that stuff. We can go through, like, actual, like, political things and, like, do some of these things that we show that she's good at, but, like, now do it in a manner that, like, she realizes she's able to do it. I like that aspect. I just think the characters are cute. I like the dynamic. I like the characters in the show so far. I don't know how I felt about the Phoenix, right? Like, objection! Like, shit we had in the fucking staircase, but...
Yo,
I
Alan's
thought that show
base,
was
though.
cute.
Alan's a cool bard-ass character. I like him.
I like him.
Mason, Wild thing you said, yeah, you did bring this up, and I actually do totally agree with you. I did get to the end of episode 3, and if it wasn't for the fact that there are shows that I would rather not watch than this one, my brain would have gone, man, what a nice show that ended in 3 episodes. I don't have to watch it. Because it is
Yeah,
honestly a
exactly.
nice, clean ending for a show. You're like, oh, happy ending, cool.
This is
Yeah.
a bit we make constantly
Yeah.
with shows. Like, okay, there it is, it's done.
And it's done.
Yep.
Because you could technically just stop here and be fine.
Oh fuck! What was? It's the Joron effect.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it just ended in 4 episodes.
I
It
don't
was
think
done.
this
The
is
story
nearly
was
as
No,
done.
bad
that
as
ended in
Jorah.
3 episodes.
That's not
and then it
nearly-
killed
I
itself
thought,
in
I
4.
thought 4 was.
4 was the episode where it went batshit insane.
I don't
3 episodes was the good stopping point, and then 4 went, okay,
Yeah.
let's go
I
nuts.
think it was 4 and then
Maybe
5
we just
went
made-
nuts, actually, but yeah.
No,
Either way.
it was definitely 4.
It was
I'll never forget
the
Joron.
second week of talking was when it.
It was
finished.
definitely 4, yeah.
It was
Another
either 3 or 4. I don't know.
another thing I
Remember
will
high on
say.
3, they were like pretty okay on 4, and then like we went to 5, went what the fuck.
But yeah,
Okay.
anyway.
My brain's trying to remember the other point I wanted to make. Have you watched Bookworm, John?
No.
You
I
should
will
watch
say-
it. You should watch
I
a
will say,
sentence of the Bookworm.
Should the show have been for my list? No. Was it like happy serotonin effect because I was sleepy and also had to make a list in like 10 minutes 'cause I thought we were gonna go? Yes.
I like it.
Is it still? Do I still like it? Yeah, I still like it. It's cute. Like if I had to like reorder stuff right now, I'd probably be like, move the Witch of Mercury up to 4 or Blue Lock, and then like put Eminence below those 2, and then put Bibliophile probably.
Like overall, and there's not a particular reason I'm doing this now. Overall, I think we have a really good batch of shows. We do have to talk about another show quick though. Hey Mason, let's talk about Shinobi.
Shinobi no Ittoki is about ninjas in the modern day. They've been around for ages, since ninjas were like an actual thing. They just stuck around, and it's all about the fighting between houses. Ittoki is he's just a normal high school dude where his mom's kind of strict and has made him do a bunch of these different clubs as a kid. And then it turns out he's actually the next chief of his ninja clan that he never knew existed. And he finds this out because a girl asks him out and then gets naked in front of him and then tries to stab him.
Just your
And
average
this is-
Saturday.
Yeah, just your average Saturday. Turns out, the biggest ninja group, the Koga, think that his village has killed their previous leader. So they're trying to destroy the village. Crazy. So he has to go to ninja school to become become an actual ninja and become the head of this ninja village. Hijinks ensue. He's kind of bad at it because he never knew he was a ninja. Probably should have been something that they should have told him. But whatever. I think the show's honestly fine. It's very much like shonen action comedy, and it's nothing offensive. I'm kind of speedrunning this because it's getting late, but
Yeah.
like, to be fully honest with you, like I think the show's fine. It's not
Yeah.
great. It's not bad. It's just entirely fine. Also, it's it's made by the guy who was Kamen Rider. Not like he was the creator of Kamen Rider. He just was the guy who acted as Kamen Rider. So
Which
interesting.
makes so much sense.
It really does.
I will say, and I know Michael agrees with me on this point. I have no idea what John thinks because he's not here. But this main character's so bland. He's so
is.
nothing. I really want him to be more. It also doesn't help that it feels like he should be a little better at things. Like I'm not asking for a lot. I do think it makes sense for him to still get his shit kicked in and to not understand like ninja stuff. But
But,
boy,
like,
he
also-
should
But he did all these lessons. Where the
did
fuck is any
kendo,
amount of
he did-
anything?
He did kendo. He did gymnastics. He did flower arranging. He
Like,
did fucking
He didn't
everything.
do flower arranging.
No, he did, and then he got out of it.
Oh, he got out of it. Okay. Props to him for like snatching the bun out of the outfit. Weird we didn't get to know what the repercussions were for not actually succeeding in the days. Like we were told that we were gonna have punishment for them having the fight, and then we didn't see any.
Yeah.
Is it what's her name? Is it Kotetsu? Kotetsu. She's wonderful. She's great.
She's great.
She is, however, just a tsundere, and that's her predominant trait.
Yeah.
I can't.
Very strong character design. Almost a good character.
What female
And then they
character
went,
do you
"Nah,
guys?
just kidding."
What female character do you guys not like? I thought one of you mentioned to me you didn't like one of the female characters.
I'm not a fan of Rio. I think her name's
Reiko?
the one whose entire personality trait is that she's horny for ninja suits.
Reiko.
What do you mean?
Boy, did that get annoying so fast. Like, it's kind of cute at first, and the way, like, Mei Hatsume from My Hero is, like, kind of cute, but then immediately gets super overbearing. The thing is that Mei is a character that appears, like, once every, like, 15 episodes. I assume Reiko's gonna be very common as a member of this 3-person harem, because that's just what these 3 supporting females are. They are the harem.
It could have been 4. Never forget what we lost, boys.
I'll say his uncle, great. I love
wonderful
so
character.
much.
His uncle's fantastic. His uncle's the best character in this goddamn show.
Absolutely hate the design of the ninja suits. They look so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
When I think of ninja suit, I don't think of fucking Glass Joe from Punch Out.
It's sci-fi. They're just Tron characters in a ninja setting. It's Ninja Tron.
Then give them like the cool like masks or something.
No,
don't make
you
it just
gotta
be a fucking goofy ass. Don't. It's literally the fucking SpongeBob karate outfit. That's the ninja outfit. They're doing karate.
Shout out. Oh boy, I'm trying to remember. You know, it's like I'm losing thoughts as I'm trying to navigate through things. And I actually woke up at like 7 in the morning today, so like I actually do need to go to bed soon myself. Shout outs to the Naruto joke is a good joke, was a good bit. In episode 2. Man, do I think the major twist of this show is super obvious, and that the leader of the Koga clan killed his cousin, brother, uncle, father.
Yeah, right.
Like
he's the one who did it because he wanted power. Hi Nanami.
Boy, we're not. Yeah, hi Nanami. Boy, we're not hiding that fact at all. It's OSC goes hard, but as does every show. I don't know. I definitely could want more from this.
Yeah, the show is inoffensive, but the issue is
doing anything.
Yeah, it's not like bad.
I think
it's like a pretty inoffensive show, but it doesn't do anything to make me want to keep watching it. It is so fucking boring. His main character sucks. Because that was like the best part, as I think her design is just super strong. Just make her the main character of her own show. Kill Ittoki, please.
Yeah, it really doesn't help that he feels like the blandest character on the planet, and I don't really care about anybody else right now. And also for a show that's really grounded on the ninja thing, we really haven't gone into like the explanation of like the different houses or clans like you would expect them to have done by now, or like explained anything about the ninja world besides the fact that it is the real world with ninja slapped in front of it.
Been a fan.
I know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Very good. It's funny.
There are some times where it wasn't a problem, and then there are some times where it was a real big problem. That one was really bad. But no, yeah, I really did want to get a counter for the first 3 episodes about how many times they said the word ninja, but I felt like I was going to die if I did that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I made the joke with Mason though that not only is this the village hidden in Japan, but it is also just it is just the real world with the word ninja slapped on as many things as possible. The main antagonist, ninja capitalism.
Yeah.
See, I thought the bit in episode 2 where he did his fire style jutsu and his water style jutsu was really good.
Was great.
That's by far the best part of this entire show.
Like episode 2,
I agree.
honestly, really good. I think episode 2 was really solid.
Fire style jutsu. And she just comes over with the water style splash.
It was a good mix. It was like they started with that, and then the callbacks at the end when he does his cool little contraption. And I get me, it's like, oh look, he does all these little silly things.
I get it.
We are voting right now, everybody, so if it seems like attention is separate, it's not just because we're all ready to fall asleep, it's also because we are diverting attention.
But mainly because we're all ready to fall asleep.
Yeah, it's a good bit of both.
Alright, they've all come through.
Yes. We got The Lord of the Weaves, Return of the King. How do I keep doing it? Must protect Fran, and my master has no show. I usually run through stuff. I usually just run through in groups, so you should know that Blue Lock, Mobile Suit Gundam, Eminence and Shadow, Do It Yourself, Reincarnated as a Sword, Chainsaw Man, Bocchi the Rock, Bibliophile, all have 4 saves. They are all good to go. Urusei Yatsura has 1 slay on it this week. Shinobi has 2. I wasn't ready to nuke that show yet. And to nobody's surprise, Akiba Maid War and my master has no tail both have 3 slays.
Only 3 on Akiba.
I'm surprised that there's 3 on both.
No, I like tail a little bit. I'm honestly surprised that anyone didn't put Maid War. I want to see it. No. Okay. Are we good?
Yep.
Oh, why is it
Alright,
like this?
So the one that gets selected is gone, or the one that's alive that's gone? The one that gets selected, right?
It's the one that, the one that it lands on gets slayed.
Okay, here we go. Big money. No whammies. We have to watch an episode of Maid's Homicide.
That's okay. Now I
That's
just
okay.
know it's gonna go next week, unless something else gets really bad. No, but yeah, let's do a little bit of a little bit of an outro. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. For anyone who stuck around, for anyone who popped in, popped out, we appreciate it. Again, if you're new, haven't seen anything else we do, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. We're gonna have some stuff coming up. Mason and I might, if he has time and we're free, we might do a little bit of a talk about Another, because him and I started watching that for Halloween. And I'm interested to hear his thoughts about it once we're done. We still got 3 episodes left of that. We're also in volume 5, 6. We're in volume 6 of Ruby.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we really went through Ruby.
We went in on Ruby because that show is actually fucking
The moment
way better than
we didn't watch Terror and Resonance, Mason and I watched Ruby.
Yes.
We're hopefully gonna do stuff on Terror once, not anytime soon, because we're gonna want shows to drop down in number. Maybe like when we get closer to the top 3, we'll consider it. It'll be a wonderful Christmas story. Yeah, we got some stuff in the works. We have some ideas for some other content in addition to that as well. So always helpful to subscribe, keep that notification on. Join us sometime next week, which we are gonna have to navigate around a little convention to make work.
Probably Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be another Tuesday.
Probably Tuesday. Tuesday's usually gonna work just because I usually take Tuesdays off on purpose, but I do have 1 or 2 Tuesdays that I have to work, so
Yeah, this works out well because my Saturday wasn't gonna be very good this weekend, so
yeah,
it's nice. I don't know, anything else you guys want to say or talk about before we go? I know it's really late, so I don't blame you if the answer is no.
John's on negative sleep. He's gonna take the fact that he hasn't lost a show yet and run. I'm gonna go watch Mr. Shadow probably tomorrow. That shit's so funny.
It's real good. I'm gonna watch. I know I'm gonna watch Reincarnated tomorrow because I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guilty pleasure. I think I didn't get to mention about it while we were talking about it. Is I love its soundtrack. I love Fantasy Choir as tracking behind a show.
You can just stop right there. I love fantasy. Just
well,
right
yes,
there.
but I need to elaborate on this. Oh man, yeah, I think we have a really good season though. I really like the batch of shows we have. I enjoy a lot of elements about them all. Another I think really solid, and I think a really good close to the year. Knowing that next season will bring us into 2023. Which will be fun to get to when we get there.
That's a real year.
Yeah, it is. But thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you next time on Save or Slay. This season, I'm gonna try to never get the name of the podcast wrong.
I believe in you.
Guesses on what episode I'll fail at.
4.
Ooh, you're mean.
I don't know.
I think I can do it.
Eventually.
I think I'll get through it. I'm confident. This is my season.
guys.
I'm gonna win one way or
Bye.
another.
Bye. We'll
Yep.
bye.
See you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Eminence and Shadow's winning this year. Bye.